Well, good morning, everyone in Asia. Good evening, everyone in the USA and in other parts of the world. It is a thrill to be with you once again. This is Ken Krell, and tonight, we have an incredibly special program for you with my buddy Micheal Bernoff. And I want to share with you how this program got put together. But before I do, I want to remind you that this time is your time. It's all about you, and especially tonight or today, whatever time zone you're in, this next hour to an hour and a half is really going to be revolutionary in terms of the way you choose to run your life, build your life, and create the dreams that you want. And I'm talking about really creating them rather than just talking about them, actually getting things done. So if you have cell phones on, if you got chat boxes open on your computer, if you have any of those distractions that are typical and ordinary in your world that are on right now, turn them off. Give yourself the freedom of a focus and allow yourself to enjoy the next 90 minutes with us, because it will be transformational. This session is a bonus session for those of you who invested in our Focus Factor program, and you're going to love what we call this activation session, where you'll learn how to activate everything that you just invested in and take it to another level. And Micheal has so generously said, you know what, why don't we open it up to everybody else on your subscriber list, because frankly they can all benefit. And I said, well, who am I to say no to giving extra value to all of you? So that's what we've chosen to do for you guys, this weekend. And a little backstory before we bring Micheal in. Both of us, Micheal and I, both have been traveling over the past few days. Micheal 2 cities in 2 days, me 21 hours of flying back from the USA to Asia. So Micheal just literally came straight from the plane to his office to do this for us, and for that I'm very grateful. To be able to have that level of commitment towards both his friends as well as new friends and helping change people's lives is really one reason why I find him so tremendous to work with. So let's get started here. First of all, before we get to the final formalities, make sure you can all hear me okay. So if you guys hear me okay, would you do me a favor, tell me yes, and tell me where you're coming in from in the chat box. So there we go. Okay, we have a great question. Peter, thanks for asking that. Why do they build interstate highways in Hawaii? I don't know. Nigel's in from Australia. Who else is here with us today? Gail's coming in from Houston. Thanks for coming in, Gail. Who else is here tonight? And I'm saying that because I'm thinking USA time. Victoria's in from Whitby, Ontario, Canada. Who else? I see Fred's coming in from the Philippines. Welcome. Okay, you guys don't be shy. This is going to be a tremendous session for you when you participate, and I can tell you that Michael's going to insist on it. Wayne's coming in from San Francisco. Great to see you, Wayne. Richard's from Albany, Maryland. Peter says he hears me great from Milwaukee. Okay, awesome. Okay, good. So we're terrific. So in this case, let me see. Michael, are you there and ready? Michael, are you there and ready?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Great. I hear you great. Sabina is in from Nashville. Terrific. Okay, awesome. Well, let me give you my my history on Micheal. It is synchronistic, as it were. Micheal was introduced to me by a friend of ours, and when she told me about the kind of work that Micheal does, which is, I'll say, similar to some of the stuff that Tony Robbins does, and in fact, when you meet Micheal, you will think, this is Tony, but not. Actually, better looking, and the technology that he uses, I think, is probably a little bit more effective than what Tony does. And I've been through all sorts of Tony Robbins stuff over the years. Micheal is an expert in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, studied with some of the same people that I've studied with. Only he knows it and I don't, so there's a lot to be said for that. And when we first started working together, Micheal did a training for us for the World Speaker Summit, and everyone loved his presentation. It was off the hook, and I wanted to get him back. But in addition to that, Micheal presented his call to action program at that event, and I did it, and it was life-changing. You'll hear more about that later on, because I want you to understand just what you can do to make some dramatic change. But Micheal told me about his HIT program, which is the human interaction training that he did back in December. And some of you may have been on our quick 30-minute interview where we talked about that event. It's completely life-changing. And the HIT program, having gone over to Scottsdale to spend 5 days with him, was just tremendous. I learned more in 5 days with Micheal than I did in 12 days of training in California years ago in NLP. And what I learned was how to best position my message, how to better interact with other people, how to listen to other people and really get what what they're responding to and better serve them. So what you're about to experience is a conversation with Michael, and again, this is unscripted. This is specifically just for you guys, but this is a man that you want to pay attention to every single word, because every single word that he says is crafted in such a way that it will have maximum impact on you. And by the time you finish listening to what Michael's got to say and really visualizing everything that you're going to be hearing, you will be transformed. I can promise you that. So with that said, Mr. Micheal Bernoff. Let's give Micheal Bernoff the Prosperity Course clap. Here we go.
I love it. I love it. I just love that we're here tonight and working on this. So many people are so many places tonight doing all kinds of things that aren't productive, and here we are talking about prosperity and focus and getting what we want in life. This is just so cool.
Yeah, hey, by the way, before I forget, you may hear a little bit of background music from my end. It's not that I wanted mood music. It's that I'm actually in my technically it's my office. It's a restaurant that I work out of. When I got home last night at 2 o'clock in the morning, I discovered that for whatever reason my internet at my condo is not working, and it is now 9 a.m. Bangkok time. They won't get it fixed until probably noon. So if you hear a little background noise, I'll mute myself if it's distracting. But just wanted you guys to know what's going on back there. So okay, so let's first of all, Michael, I really want to thank you, because when we talked earlier today, or earlier this week, when I talked to Deborah, your lovely wife, and I said, can we do something special this weekend? And Deborah said, absolutely. What time? And I told her, she said, Michael's getting off a plane at that time. so we made it work. We worked it a little bit later. I like to usually do the Sunday nights a bit earlier. So thank you, first of all, for jumping in and serving everybody.
You got it.
It's typical for you. I mean, but really most people don't experience that. And I want everybody to know that Michael and I come from the same mental state, and from the idea that you have all the power in the world to change things and make things happen, and he really is committed to making that work for you guys. So you'll be hearing that in just a few minutes. And I watched him during the 5-day program literally change people's lives from. There's one guy that we call Braveheart, for example, and we just watched him go from quiet person to this incredible, energetic soul that just opened up and really exploded into who he really is. And for those of you that are here right now, if you find that there's anything holding you back, today is about activating that part of you that may not be activated to the level that you want. So let's go play.
I'm ready to rock. We're gonna have some fun here with this.
Yeah, I think we are. Now, I guess what I want to start out with, Michael, is to talk about what you call the new technology of success, because you run things a bit differently, and you've got some pretty strong attitudes about personal growth industry and what reality is with all that. So let's talk about that for a few minutes, and then we can kind of go into whatever shows up for us today.
Yeah, I'll get into this. I'm sure you'll ask me a bunch of questions on the subject, and I'll get into a little deeper about the new technology of success in a little bit. And the reason I'm interested that you asked me that question, and we said we weren't going to really script anything here tonight. We're just going to kind of go off the cuff, see what happens. The reason I call it the new technology of success is, and I'll explain very briefly here in just a little bit, it's about 3 very simple things that in order to succeed at anything in your life that is going to be necessary. And it's not like a list of, 3 things that, you write them down, you look at them and hope you do them. It's not your, the 4 agreements with yourself or the 5 love languages. It's literally like what you need to do to live like and be a successful person instead of just knowing what it is. Because at the end of the day, you can get off a training like this and have a list of 20, 30 things you need to do in your life. And the biggest challenge is that you'll be ultra excited, you'll be fired up, you'll say this sounds good, you'll be pumped up out of your gourd, you'll write down goals, you won't sleep tonight, you'll be excited. Yet if you don't change some of the things in the way you do them in your life, it winds up being just a lot of exciting stuff that you buy. And my strong feelings I have about the personal development industry is that I come from that industry. It is what literally changed my life years ago, getting into the right books and tapes and audios, seminars, different types of stuff. Well, I realized years back I was very, very into success. And I don't know, Ken, if you ever had a moment like that in your life. You're like really into it. You could read the books. You could recite the stuff. You knew all about it. I knew how to get goals. I knew how to get myself fired up. Yet I really wasn't living the way that I truly desired to live. And for years, I had no idea that I actually was teaching people the same things that I was taught, the same stuff I read out of a book, until one day I realized that it's me and everybody else is talking about this stuff. we all know it intellectually. I may be doing it some of the time, but it really isn't who I am, and it's not really how I'm living. And what I mean by that is it's no different than having a diet program that you have memorized, you know everything about, and when you turn around at the end of the day, you can memorize it, but you're still eating the thing you shouldn't eat, or you know the sales skill to say to somebody, here's what to say, or here's how you get someone to buy from you, and you know what to say, you know exactly how to do it, but you're not picking up the phone. So the reason I talk about it and call it the new technology of success is I've developed a very simple thing that anybody can figure out how to do. It's a very simple system that anyone can, take advantage of, and all it is ability to get yourself to do what it is that you know that you need to do. Because for most of us, I've realized that, when you get the books, tapes, audio, seminars, stuff like that, you already know what it is you need to do. I mean, for a lot of us, unless we're talking about new web programming, or you're talking about how to, do some new coding on the computer, or something you don't know about, most of us know, for the most part, what it is we need to do in our lives. And really the first thing is, how do you get yourself to do those things? The technology of success is designed around how do you get yourself to do what it is you know. The second thing is really understanding what truly motivates people, because I'm sure you asked me about this later. I truly believe the majority of the industry is BSing everybody, and they're getting people fired up, getting them excited about things that they want, and it's good. It's good to get people excited, but we usually stop them there. And I just got back from Las Vegas, having a day out there, and it's amazing how many people sit at the slot machine and they keep on pulling, hoping for the one day maybe. They got a nice little picture in their head of hitting the jackpot, but they keep on pulling, and they never actually get what it is that they want. And the biggest reason is that they really don't know how to motivate themselves to consistently take the actions they need to take. And for you in your life, if you have stuff that you want, it isn't about just knowing what it is. It's the ability to motivate yourself to take consistent action any time that you desire. And on top of that, how do you get yourself to move forward regularly? And the last thing, and I really believe this is what really screws up most people, and there isn't really a lot of books on this. They tell you how to notice you have it. Lots of people share with you, kind of don't do what I'm about to say. Yet for the majority of us, we do something like in the 80s they called sabotage, or they've got, run the wrong program, you'd say, in your life, or, you quit before you get started, or, the fancy words, procrastination, or put things off. Well, the biggest reason we procrastinate, you put things off, you sabotage yourself, you don't follow through, you kind of mess up when you start doing well, and everybody kind of finally makes some money, and your ups and downs, you have no consistency in your life, is the majority of people on earth have a perception of themselves, or other people have a perception of them, which is off from the one they truly desire. So I'll talk to you guys about this in just a little bit, but really the new technology of success addresses these three things. How to get you to make the decisions you need to make in your life, how to get yourself to consistently not just know what the actions are, take the actions you need to take, and most importantly, how to get those perceptions so in line in your life, Ken, that you know who you are is who you're working on being. And it sounds a little esoteric. I'll make it very, very simple to understand a little bit later. Yet really the secret is, if you see yourself as an overweight person, you're always going to eat that cake. If you see yourself as a person that doesn't have a lot of money, you're never going to have any. And it's not just about confidence or fake it till you make it. We got to literally get in your brain and change those perceptions, because without those things changing, you will take the wrong actions, you will not follow through, and procrastination becomes a lifestyle. So that's my feelings on this. I only know this works because I've seen gazillions of people that I've worked with, literally tens of thousands of people that I work with, transform so many things in their lives quickly because they stopped focusing on what everyone else is telling them to do, even in the powerful personal development industry, and started focusing on logical and emotional stuff to get them moving in the right direction. So I know I got a little off track, got a little excited about a very simple question, yet I'm certain I can come up with a ton of really great information to explain that to people. And when they have questions later, a lot of you are going to walk away with some profound answers and some new habits, new ideas, and new concepts for your life and strategies you can start using immediately.
Awesome. It's having been through some of your programs. I mean, certainly I've got a little bit of insider information in terms of
Sure.
where you go with this. But let me ask everybody a question here. How many of you guys that are here with us right now, and you can just put this in the chat box, so get over to if you walked away from your computer, get back to your computer, and I want you to type in the chat box, what would be the number one issue for you right now that if you could blast through this, you would be unstoppable? What's the number one thing that you need to work on?
And let's not put down like how to find leads or what workout to have. I mean, come on, if you were to be honest, what is your real challenge that's stopping you?
Yeah. Ian, because
it's not money, trust me.
Yeah, I'm seeing interesting. I'm seeing a lot of people are looking at focus and clarity and self-confidence. And I see someone has procrastinated. I'm not mentioning your names, guys, for your own confidentiality. Okay, so this is all going to be.
We're not going to say Jim in Sweden. Yeah, Jim in Sweden, the procrastinator. You're not going to say that.
Right, exactly. I'm seeing procrastination, getting my butt out to do it and overcome fear. That's great. Procrastination and fear, excellent. Procrastination, yeah.
Fear is another one of those things the personal development industry sold people, and it's very interesting because fear is a bunch of BS. And the reason I say it, some people say fear stands for forget everything and run, or fear stands for false evidence appearing real. Fear is something no different than you go to a therapist. You don't even know you're depressed. You go to a therapist and they diagnose you with it. Most people don't know they have a fear of success until somebody sells that to them. And you buy a book that winds up being your excuse. I mean, fear, at the end of the day, you can rewrite this in your brain. Here's what fear means. I really haven't done it before, and I don't have a lot of understanding of it. Because once you have a lot of understanding, you've done it before, unless we're talking about me shooting a gun at you and knocking an apple off your head, sure, you should have fear. But if you've done it a few thousand times with me and you haven't died, it's amazing as your fear is going to go away at much, much lower level, because fear really means haven't done it much before and I don't have a lot of experience yet.
Yeah, it's interesting because all these things are really kind of similar. And certainly, I created Focus Factor to help everybody on the focus side of it. And It's funny, Michael, when you and I talked about that before we started this, I was like, I wanted to make sure, and I did it without talking to you about call to action, but I wanted to put you into our Focus Factor program, so I made you a bonus for it, because I want people to recognize that focus is more than just focus. There's a bigger picture there. Victoria says, maybe having way too many focuses and not enough time in any of them. Well, yeah, that's a big problem. And by the way, that's been a big challenge for me. What I've done over the past 6 to 8 weeks has taken the 37 different things that I've been doing, and it's probably similar to that number actually, and pared it down to like 2. And it's so freeing and allows me to get really clear about just the direction that I'm taking our business. And then opportunities show up that might not have shown up before because I'm available to them. So sometimes the best thing you can do is actually prune down all the things that you're doing. And mind you, let me ask you guys this question. How many of you guys out there want to make sure that you capture everything? You don't want to miss anything at all, so you want to try and do whatever you can to capture everything possible and don't want to miss anything. Because if you're answering that question with a yes, and I'm seeing a bunch of yeses coming through here, that's me. That's what I've been doing for years. Sometimes you got to recognize what your big why is, and I think you may get some of that today, Michael. What's your bottom line, and then all these other things don't matter as much. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of yeses coming through, and that's the big thing. I mean, know who you are, know what you want, and some of us already do, but there's still that unconscious, if you will, little voice going on in the back of our head saying, no, you can't do it. So I wanted Michael to be with us today to kind of help unravel that, because I've seen him do it, and it's pretty crazy how quickly you can turn things around by just changing a couple of what might seem to be little things. But it's really fine-tuning, because you guys have, I mean, people told me for years, Ken, you have everything. You don't need to do anything else. It's all there. And I haven't believed it. How many of you are like that? Well, the bottom line is you do have all that, but we have to unlock it. And the guy with the key is in Scottsdale, Arizona right now. So let's talk a little bit about that, Michael, and see where we can get people from where they are right now to where they want to be.
Yeah, I really think it's amazing that to get you where you want to go, and I'm very calm about this right now because I want to make sure this sinks in. I normally would be like 1,000 miles an hour and hyper as can be, and I'm sure I'm going to get there in a couple of minutes when I get started. I want to say this.
Let me warn everybody. Yes, I didn't tell everybody. Make sure you have your seatbelts fastened, this is a man of energy. And by the way, he takes no prisoners. He will tell you exactly what you may need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. So understand, this was designed for you. It wasn't designed for nicey nice. This is designed because this is what we want to make sure you get the value you need out of this. So be prepared, and again, fasten your seatbelts, because Michael can gust it at about 265.
Yeah, I really can, and I'm really taking it down a notch to make sure everybody really gets it into the nervous system here tonight. So I want to make sure you're hearing it. Know sometimes it's late where you're at, or it's early where you're at right now, depending on what part of the world you're in. Yet, let's just get real straight here for a second. If there's things in your life that you want that you don't have, you're going to have to get them. Now, whether it's knocking a couple of strokes off your golf game, or it's taking your business from $10 million a year to $100 million. You want to be a better lover. You want to be better with your kids. I have professional athletes that I work with in the golf industry. I have, a guy hired me the other day to work with this kid, and he's the number 4 18 and under basketball player in high school in all of California. That may not be a big deal in like Montana or a little place with like 500,000 people, where there's 40 million people in California, and he's one of the top 5 young basketball players getting drafted by a gazillion colleges. And I was talking to his dad about this, and I said, I can't make him a better basketball player because I'm hardly very good myself. I'm tall, but I played ice hockey my whole life, not really a basketball player. Yet what I can do for him is I can help him with what it is that he's doing mentally, because odds are if he's 18 years old, he's been playing for 14 years of his life, 15 years of his life, he's a little kid. What's interesting is he already knows the moves, knows what to do, knows intellectually like what to do in the right situations. The real key is how do we get him in the right state of mind as often as we can to help him succeed. So the reason I'm bringing this up to you guys is I'm just going to take this away for a few minutes. I'll jump back and forth if you can, but I just want to make sure they get this very, very simple message. And I have no idea what exactly is going to come out of my mouth. I know you're exactly going to hear what you're supposed to hear tonight. And the real question to ask yourself by the time you're done and you're looking back, an hour from now, when Ken and I are done talking, you're off the line, is really what decisions am I going to make in my life that are going to be different in my life? Because what changed me, and I'll tell you a little about my story in a little bit, from eking by to knowing all the stuff, to knowing everybody in the personal development industry by name. Never met them before, but I knew all their little sayings, and I could repeat verbatim what to say. And I was a guy that knew about goal setting. I knew about the Atkins diet. I knew about the Body for Life. But I was overweight, and I was unhappy, and I wasn't making any money, but I could tell you all how to make great money. I just couldn't really figure out how to do it myself. I was into success, and I worked my butt off on things to do it, to becoming a person who changed his finances, extremely happily married, got a great wife, family, kids. I've got taken care of my body, my energy, and on top of that, financially, I'm in a phenomenal place in my life. And the reason I'm telling you guys this is that what I was told years ago, which revolutionized my life more than anything, was at an event with a speaker that I guarantee none of you would ever heard of in your life. If I brought up their name right now, you probably couldn't even find them on the web. And he said, I don't really care what you learn here. I care what you do at the end of this call, the decision that you make at the end of the information you're about to hear. This is a live event. He says, just do something different in your life than you normally would, and take 1 or 2 things that I share with you away and apply them in your life immediately. So I'm going to share with you a gazillion topics, a million ideas here tonight. It's going to seem like some of it might be simple, some of it may be just common sense, yet the challenge in life is that common sense isn't necessarily common practice, and the reason why is, I'm sitting there in Las Vegas. Common sense says gambling is really not smart. Common sense says that if you're taking your paycheck and you're bringing it to the cashier and they're cashing it for you and you're going and spending in the tables, or you only make 20 grand a year, if you make under 20 grand a year, going to Starbucks is really not a smart idea. But the average secretary, the average assistant, the average young college kid who's broke goes to Starbucks for $5 or $6 twice a day, and they wonder why they don't have money, because at $10 a day, 7 days a week, $70, $70 a week, you do the math, you're spending $3,000, $4,000 a year. You're spending like 20% of your income at Starbucks. No wonder you have no money. Well, common sense says don't do that, but it's really not the common sense that changed their lives. So I want to teach you guys how to get life to give you what it is that you want. Doesn't it sound good, Ken, have life give you what you want? I don't know a better way to put it, and really activate that thing that you have inside of you to get you moving in the right direction. So that's kind of the angle I want to share with you guys here right now. And as Ken said, I'm not here to baby any of you or tell you a really nice, sweet message. There's a lot of speakers and coaches and trainers you can go to that'll make you feel good, yet nothing's going to change in your life. So if you want shifting, and even if it doesn't feel the way you want it to feel, I'm going to make certain that you get what you came for here tonight. And really, I said it earlier, and I would love to see these 3 things happen for you. One is to get yourself to learn how to decide and be consistent in your life. I want to see that happen starting today, tonight, like right away. Second thing is how to get yourself to take those actions that you've been avoiding in your life and know how to consistently take them. So when you wake up tomorrow, thinking about exercising or thinking about picking up the phone or thinking about building your business isn't what you think about anymore. You just do the things you need to do and start changing that perception in your life, how you see yourself, because if you're a procrastinator and that's been your lifestyle, success is impossible. And the reason why is procrastinators don't succeed. and lazy people don't succeed, and people that have fear don't succeed. And if that's your identity and that's how you see yourself, we have a challenge here. So we're going to have to work through that and make some things change in your life, because I could tell you that eventually it's all going to go away, and it is. When you're not here on earth anymore, it tends to go away, and you'll come back or you won't come back, or whatever you believe in, or you're dead or you're not dead, or whatever spiritual force you believe in your life. None of that really matters. What really matters is, what are you going to do here in this moment that's going to give you a differential that when you wake up tomorrow and you're excited, or if you go to your day today because it's the morning where you're at, what's going to really make that difference in your life? So what I want to make certain that you do here to get the most out of everything that I share with you, and you're going to get techniques and tools, and some of you might have like an increase in confidence right from this. And Ken will tell you this, that just working with me directly, that guy said, you know, I thought he was quiet the whole weekend. We called him Braveheart because he was from Scotland. And I was teasing him, and we're having fun. We're going having like real joking back and forth, this cool Scottish accent. He says, you know, Michael, it's not that I'm shy. We're very reserved where I'm from. You know, we're more internal. We're not like these crazy Americans who jump up and down and need to be seen or whatever it is. We're not as outrageous as you are. And really that was the identity for himself. He wanted to get out there and be a little more fun and outrageous, but he wasn't doing it. By the end of working together and learning a few of these strategies, I didn't have to tell him to do it. His body just started doing it. I'm telling you, the guy came alive in the last 3 or 4 weeks since that event. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just like a totally different person. We're doing a couple things together here in the future, and what's cool about it is he's doing stuff different. So your confidence starts to grow. You start getting more energy, because what happens is when your brain gets right, you just start exercising more. You start moving your body more. You start feeling good. You start, you know, bumping back and forth, doing the things you need to do. And relationships are very simple. Once you understand you and you get you right, I'm telling you, once you know why you do what you do and how to get yourself to do it, you feel better about you. When you feel better about you, people feel better about you. So this helps your intimate relationships, your personal relationships, your friends, your clients. People are going to buy more from you. And the reason why is when you get yourself right, things start to happen. And none of this is going to be possible at all here, what I'm going to share with you today, until you understand one of the biggest defeaters of most people. And the reason why I call it a defeater is because the biggest reason people, I believe, don't take action on things that they read is most people haven't learned how to learn correctly. And that sounds kind of weird, but if you think back what school's been like in your life, for most of you, or any course that you take, you either jot down a bunch of notes and you tell yourself you're going to look at them later, and you typically don't. Maybe you see them again when you move, or a week from now you memorize them, you say you're going to do something with it, or you know, you lay in your desk and you hear it in the background, you're doing 50 other things. And I'm going to tell you, most people haven't learned how to learn correctly. So in order to stimulate your brain, to take a person that is being coached or someone I'm working with, and I want to get them to apply it today, I always share with them 3 very simple things. I'm going to give you those 3 right now. And whether you do anything with them tonight, or you just decide that every call you listen to, webinar, whatever you do in the future, you apply these 3 elements to it, I'm telling you, it's going to make a huge impact in your life. And the first thing is, I'm going to encourage you to listen to what I say, and the biggest reason why is I'm a linguist. My background is in neuro-linguistic programming. I'm one of the top 10 in the world at what it is that I do, and the reason I decided 10 is if I said 7 or 8, you may or not believe me, but by the end of this time, you're going to understand exactly what I'm talking about. So I've learned how to use my words in a very, very specific way to really enhance the way you experience what you're going to hear. Like, you know, I bring it to your attention now, you realize, wow, I've been paying attention to this guy very, very closely now for the last couple of minutes. So I'm going to use my words in a very specific manner, and I'm going to encourage you to listen to, not take apart everything I say, but listen to the words and the word choices. It's not like I'm planning any of this in advance. I've wired my brain a little differently. I've activated, as Ken said earlier, like the activation call, it's activated my brain in a very specific way to drive me to do what I need to do, and also help you guys stimulate your nervous system so you learn most effectively. And the second part of this, and this is really cool, is that when 45 minutes go by, an hour go by, whatever it's going to be here, you're going to look back and say, wow, you know, it only felt like 15 minutes. I mean, wouldn't that be cool if you're talking to your kids, your friends, your family, your lover, someone you want to meet, you're single, whatever it is, and you talk to them for an hour and it felt like 15 minutes and all they want is more? How wonderful it would be in your life if you had that ability. And you're going to notice that when a long period of time goes by, it's going to feel short here tonight, and it's not that I'm that interesting, and I am that interesting. Really what it is the way that I'm using my language. So I'm going to encourage you to listen to what I say. Second thing is, and this is big, and when I share with you one of the biggest misnomers out there about the personal development industry is that most people are looking to solve their challenges logically, and I'm going to tell you, it's emotions that change your life. It's the emotions that really do everything. So I'm going to encourage you to pay attention to how what I say makes you feel. Because if there's moments you feel bored, like I know this already, you got to write that down in your brain say, I'm feeling bored, and write that down, or I'm feeling excited, I'm overwhelmed. I start talking about $1 million or health a lot, and you're like, man, why do you keep on talking about health? Why is it bothering you? You really got to pay attention to your emotions, because it's your emotions that drive you. Sales 101 says emotions over logic makes more money. Be emotional. Share emotions with people. Logically, you shouldn't drink beer. It's not good for you. But the emotions in the commercials make you want to drink it. It's been set up that way since the beginning of time. And I'm going to tell all of you that you need to understand yourself emotionally to get yourself to drive yourself to do what it is that you want in your life. And so the second thing is I want you to pay attention to how what I say makes you feel. And the last thing is I really want you to get engaged. Here's what's cool about this. I know for a fact I'll have some Q&A later, some questions. I really want you to ask them. And I want to make everything that I say be like a back and forth conversation. So here's who's on here. I don't care about anybody else here on this call. I care about you and I. It's you and I right now. If you're on here with your wife, it doesn't matter about your wife, your husband right now. It's you and I and them and I. So whoever you is and whoever you are, if you're an I or is or are or this or that, it doesn't really matter. It's you and me here today. So I'm going to ask you to get engaged, and what I mean by that is turn off the other stuff you have going on in your life, communicate with me, let's have a conversation. Whether it's physically you typing something into the box, or it's, just talk back to me, like in your mind, just open up your mouth. If I ask a question like, do you really want to make more money? Just say yes, Michael, I do. Because if we were face to face and you were just sitting there staring at me, like I would think something's wrong with you. If I said, hey, do you want to make more money? You're like, think about it. You don't need to think about it. You know in your heart that's what you want. So I want you to talk in your world, where you're at, your home, your office, as though you're talking with me right now. And if you did these three things at every event that you were at every seminar you listened to, at every sermon you heard, whatever it is you got involved, you get so much more out of it, and you start using it in your life. And the last thing I'm going to ask you to do is to make a decision today to use some of the stuff that I'm going to share with you, because once you do, you're going to see some amazing, amazing stuff happen. So let me get into how this technology of success stuff really works and my exciting revelation that I had over the last couple of months. And the reason it's so exciting is I had an opportunity when I had moved recently to go through some old boxes, and I found something that I did years ago with this lady. She had the 5th largest Century 21 office on earth, and it was like enormous. She had like 600 agents, and they were doing a zillion transactions. It was freaking crazy. And when we were there, her and I were working on a little project called storyboarding, and we were going through our life, if the beginning to where we are now and how we wound up where we're at in our lives and looking for patterns and different things. And I found this thing I made years ago. And it was so cool, and I started looking at it again, and I started noticing a couple of patterns that I had in my life. And one of them is that I never pushed myself until about 10 years ago to really go for what it is that I wanted. I would go for it. I'd sign up for it. I would sign up for the marathon, but I didn't push myself to run it really fast. Or I would sign up for a business, but didn't do really much with it. I would, buy the book, but I didn't really follow through. And I couldn't figure out why it was that I was totally good at getting started. And I'm sure you can relate to this. I was totally good at getting started. I wasn't great at finishing. And I wanted more, but I didn't always get and make it happen. And I found that the biggest pattern, the biggest reason I had in my life, and I've researched and worked with so many successful people out there, is that when I looked at my story, it was so much different than almost anybody else that I've ever heard in the personal development space. And the biggest reason why is I don't have a rags to riches story. I do have, I'm the guy that used to make 20 grand a year and have a company that makes millions and millions and millions of dollars. Yes, I have that story, but I didn't grow up that way. And I don't have the poor guy that has a big story about being poor. And then maybe if you do, that's great, because typically I realize that poor people typically want to get out of where they're at, or they stay where they're at. And I don't have that story like I was Donald Trump's kid and I'm just rich and I just got to find a way to make more money. I don't have that story either. I grew up with what I believe one of the biggest challenges of the 21st century that most people thought was a gift that literally destroyed our economy, which literally destroyed drive in children today, which if you talk to most children, it's really, really sad what's out there, has literally destroyed communication, created more divorces than you could ever imagine. And it was started as just a genius idea. And this is just my opinion right now, but I want to walk you through something that I realized about my life. And as I've been sharing this with so many people, I realized how this ill effect had on us. And the reason I'm telling you this is not to be negative right now. It's to activate you to understand something about yourself And once you understand what holds you back, let's just let go of it. Let's get rid of it. Let's remove it. Let's, cut it off on both sides, make a big circle around it, cut it out, get the cancer out of us, basically, and start moving in the right direction. And what that challenge is that in the 1920s and 30s, after the Great Depression and everything, the world wanted a simpler way, a safer way of living. So there'd be enough money to get by. There would be enough 401k, get your kids to college. You have a little more than you need. And for most of us, you have more than you need. You may not have what you want. There may not be anything really wrong. You may not have the money you want, the body you want, but you have enough. I mean, you've eaten today, and you have enough clothes. You got 2 extra pairs of shoes at least, and you have a car and all this other stuff. And really what happened was the whole idea after the Great Depression, at least in North America, was to create something called the middle class. And I believe the biggest challenge that I have and most people have had, and 80% of the people I come across, fell in these 3 categories: lower middle class, or upper middle class. And actually, it had nothing to do with just economics. It had to do with a way of living. And what I realized about middle class was you either have enough or a little more than enough. And when you have enough or a little more than enough, you really don't have to be very driven because you're going to be okay. And when you know you're going to be okay, biologically speaking, you really eliminate drive immediately. And middle class should be covertly named complacency. And what I mean by that is my parents used to say when I was a kid little things like, that's just not for people like you. I mean, it's not like they were saying I can't have it. They're just saying people like us don't have those kind of things. And I had enough. I got to go on an extra vacation a year. I got an opportunity to hang out with my friends. But all of them were middle class too. And the middle class mindset had seeped into so many areas of my life because I remember when I was a kid, we used to have this thing called the physical fitness test. And I'm sure you can relate to this, something you don't look forward to. I'm sure all of you have this, like taxes. That was my first version of like taxes, something I didn't look forward to. And the reason why is I'm this tall, lanky kid, and the physical fitness test rolls around, and you have to do pull-ups. Well, I'm scared of pull-ups because I'm not good at it. I have that fear thing, and I just, even the thought of them back then, it just freaked me out. And the biggest reason it freaked me out was I wasn't good at it. And I just figured I wasn't good at it because people like me, they're not good at those kind of things. I just don't know how. And the physical fitness test would roll around, and I'd freak out. Other kids, they thought it was the greatest thing on earth. I had this friend, Courtney Grow. He was a really, really great athlete, a wrestler, wrestled for University of Pennsylvania for college, awesome dude. And what was cool about him was he would do like 20, 30 pull-ups. He could do 100 push-ups. He could do sit-ups, and I watched him do it. And I said, man, that's amazing. I wish I could do that too. But I never asked the question, like, could you show me how you do that? How do you train? Which muscle do you use in your body? Because I didn't think it was for someone like me. And I realized that this had showed up in so many areas of my life that by the time I went to college and I went away to school, I just thought, success was something that wasn't for me. I always wanted to have it, but I just thought it was easy for other people, and they figured it out. I even found myself, parking cars, and I would valet fancy cars, people's Rolls Royces. I'd park fancy Aston Martins. I'd have people's Ferraris, Lamborghinis. Here's $50, leave the car up front. And I never thought to ask these people how they got it. And one day I was talking to one of the other valets, and I walked up to one of the guys, and I said, you got this beautiful Aston Martin. How did you get this? And he said, do you really want me to show you? And in that moment of clarity, I said, yes. And I expected him just to, tell me he worked really hard and made the money. And he said, great, meet me tomorrow. And in that moment, I met one of my first mentors, and he started sharing with me a bunch of stuff. And even though what he shared with me was so profound and so cool and really life-changing and really just some awesome stuff, over the course of the next few years, I got into business, but I was really into succeeding. I was into success, but I couldn't figure out how to get myself going, and I would lie to myself and say things were better than they were. I was making goals and dream boards and having this thing that I was shooting for every day, but I really wasn't getting anywhere. I'd start, stop, sabotage myself. I was in a relationship where I was absolutely miserable. I should have got out day one, and I stayed for 2 years. And the saddest thing about it, and why I'm telling you guys this, is so many of us do this in our lives, is we think we're getting somewhere because we feel good about it. But if you look at the darker resources of your mind, you'll say, I'm actually being complacent. I'm actually settling instead of getting what it is that I want. And failing is such an obvious thing for people. And when you fail, it looks very simple. You get divorced is a failure that your relationship didn't work. It's obvious. Your neighbors notice it. Doesn't mean you're a failure. It means it failed. A foreclosure sign out your house, failure. It's obvious. You see it. You gain 100 pounds, failure, obvious. You see it. You gained 100 pounds. You start smoking, you get sick, something happens. These things are obvious. But complacency is nothing we really talk about. It's part of who we are. And I remember years back, my wife and I, we'd sold our house, and someone bought our house really, really quickly, and we moved into a smaller home, and it was 3,500 square feet smaller. It was a big house, but it was still quite a bit smaller than the one we had. And we would lie. We'd say things to ourselves like, oh, you know, at least this house is smaller, and we can get quicker from the bedroom to the laundry room and all that stuff. And we'd say it was better, but really what we were doing is settling. And it's so amazing how this ingrained in my life. And the reason I'm telling you this is that one day I met that man. He shared with me a couple of these things. And throughout that process, long story short, there was a magic day when I realized that I was lying to myself, that I was playing a game that wasn't working. I was selling myself on the idea of I was a procrastinator, that I don't know how to get to the next step, and I was telling all this stuff. And finally, I figured out a way to break through this stuff. And he shared with me like dozens of things to do on how to be successful, and I narrowed it down to 3 very, very simple things. And I've shared them to you twice here already today, and I'm going to share with you one more time. And really what that was the original formulation of what I called the technology of success back then. And literally technology of success is 3 things that you really got to do to change your life. But I'm going to tell you, if you don't understand what stops you from using it, it's useless. And I'm going to share that with you here in a couple of minutes. And Ken, hopefully it's cool. I just keep on going through this. Ken, I'm kind of on a roll here with this. Do you mind if I just, just run through all this material? We're working good?
I just muted myself and let you go, Michael.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. I'm just making sure. I want to cover this to make sure everybody gets this.
It's good. It's good. I'm talking to people in the chat, too. They're loving it, so it's all good.
Okay, good. Okay, you handle the chat. I'm just going to go through. I have no idea what's going to come out next, but I'm pretty sure they're going to get everything here they're supposed to get here today. I'm going to take what I normally would say in 60 to 80 hours, and I'm going to give it them in the next 30 minutes. So
you guys having fun?
A little faster.
How are we doing so far, you guys? Is this working for you? Pop in the chat box. Let's let us know how you're doing real quick. And I see a lot of great stuff coming through here. Okay,
cool.
Victoria.
Okay, you hit the chat box. I'll take care of these guys, Ken, and I'll come back to you in a little bit. So the reason I'm bringing this up is, and I want to make certain that you guys understand the basics of all of these different elements here, is because when it comes down to me teaching this to you, it's great, but if you don't know what will stop you from succeeding at it, it's going to be impossible to succeed. And then I'm going to teach you what stops you, then I'm going to teach you how to actually use it and use it to your advantage. So if you walk away with like 2 things here tonight, for a lot of you, one of them is going to open up that safe that's been locked for so long. And you have this imagine this metaphoric safe you have, and it's got like 3 of the digits in out of 4, totally dialed in, numbers right, locksmith checked it out. If the last digit you have no idea what it was, tonight I give it to you. Safe opens, all the happiness, joy, success, money, whatever it is you want in your life, starts pouring in over the next 6 to 8, 10 months, a year, whatever it is. You start getting the life you want. So really, in order to really understand the technology of success, it's very simple. Number 1 is you're going to have to decide that where you're at right now in your life is not where you want to be. And I really hate to say that, but if you make $10 million a year and you want to make $100 million, trust me, you can't stay at 10 and make $100 million. It's just you're going to have to decide that where it is in your life right now that you are at, you're just going to have to be somewhere else. If you love your family and they're wonderful, and if you spending all your time with them, but you want a more intimate relationship, even be better with them, trust me, you're going to have to work on that. It isn't just going to show up. You're going to have to work on it, and you're going to have to say, I like where I'm at, but I want more. So the first thing is you're going to have to decide that you're going to have to do something. It sounds ridiculous. The first step is you're going to have to decide. And I'll share with you in a little bit why that's a challenge for most people, why they have a real trouble in that area. The second thing, in order to get what it is you want, the technology of success, very simple, is I said it earlier, you're going to have to figure out what are the actions that you need to take in your life, and more importantly, how do you get yourself to take them? One thing is knowing what diet you need. Number 2 is actually doing the diet. Number 1 is knowing to pick up the phone and make calls for your business, build your websites, whatever it is you need to do to make more money. Number 2 is having the motivation and drive to do it. Knowing it is cute. Sexy is doing it. Nobody wants to be cute. You want to be sexy. And what I mean by that, sexy means follow through. Sexy means get what you want. And the last thing, I said it earlier, and it'll make more sense to you in a little bit, is understanding your perceptions about life. And what I mean by that is most of you, your perceptions are massively off of how you see things, how you understand yourself, because for some of you, the connection between the reaction in your body and what it is you want are massively, massively, massively off. Like, for instance, my little baby, when she falls, she's 10 months old, we've helped train her to do something that's, I believe, very powerful. When she falls, instead of crying, when she's not really hurt, she's learning to walk, and when she falls, she laughs. She thinks it's funny. Other babies, they laugh, and they fall, and they cry, and the mommy comes picks them up, and they cry, and they're being trained to cry when they're hurt. Well, we've trained her when you're really hurt to cry. What a great gift you can give somebody to help them wire their brain where something means something better than what it is that they're currently doing. So let's talk about how to get you to make the decisions you know you need to make. Like literally, let's do something different. Number two, what actions you need to take and how to get yourself to consistently do them. And last is let's get the perceptions in line in your life so you see things correctly and don't miss the mark. And I believe that the biggest reason that most people don't succeed is they're going about things in a completely illogical manner. And the reason I call it illogical manner is most people are looking to solve an emotional challenge in logical terms. And what I mean by that is an alcoholic should not drink, and they probably should not go to a bar, but an alcoholic typically stays an alcoholic when they go to the bar. Now, they know better than go to the bar. When your doctor tells you if you don't quit smoking, you're going to die, and you don't quit smoking, that's not logic. That's emotion that makes you light up that cigarette. It's emotion that makes you not make the calls. It's emotion that the chocolate cake looks way better in that moment than the new sexy body you want for spring break weather. Now, I'm going to tell you, the reason you don't do the things you want to do has nothing to do with logic. It has everything to do with you understanding your emotions and how they work. So the first reason why most people don't succeed is they're looking to do it logically instead of emotionally. And what I mean by logically is I'm looking for the new system, I'm looking for the new formula, I want a better way, can I just have what it is that I want? But the reason why Ken makes things and brings to you things to get you to focus and stuff like that, that's to drive you emotionally, not just for you to know, here's my target, here is what I want a yacht, I want 3 maids, I want to have a masseuse that comes to my house every day, whatever it is you want. The logic isn't going to really drive you. It's the emotions that are going to make things change in your life. The second reason why I truly believe that most people never follow through and do the things that you want to do is you're in the wrong state of mind. Because really what it is you're looking to right now when you're standing still, get yourself moving, but you're getting your whole plan put together while you're standing still, and you're wondering why you're not moving. But the biggest reason you're not moving is you're standing still. Now, what I mean by that is you got to learn how and to be in the right emotional state of mind. And what I mean by the right emotional state of mind is we've all had days where you felt like you were on top of the earth. I'm sure you've had this, where you totally felt confident, you felt alive, you were good at something. Like I have a guy that I work with who's another athlete, and he's a great pitcher too, as well as a basketball player. And I was talking to him, I said, well, do you always notice where you're pitching? He goes, you have to. If not, you're going to put it in the wrong place, they're going to hit it out of the park, or I'm going to hit the person, so I have to focus. I said, well, same thing in basketball, because he was missing shots. I said, well, if you can act like you are when you're a pitcher, when you're playing basketball, you're going to play better. And this quick shift that he knew how to make instantly put him in a better state of mind. It got him hitting more baskets. He was landing more shots. He was getting more points. And he felt better about his life, as you will too when you start doing this. And the biggest reason why is he was in the wrong state of mind. And what I mean by state of mind is the way he feels about what it is that he's doing, the way you feel about what it is that you're currently doing in your life and how it's really interacting with you and all the stuff that you're doing. So let me give you an example here real quick. I want you to think about your emotions for a second. Think about what drives you. Think about what moves you. And I also want to ask you a very honest question. You can type it in the box or not. I know the answer is resoundingly yes to all of us, and me included, all of us. If you look at your life in the last 6 minutes to 60 days, how many times, and the only people who are going to say no to this lie about other things too. I'm telling you, or you're so in love with personal development that you have brainwashed yourself to act in a way that is not realistic on life. It's like completely unrealistic. Think about your life over the last 6 minutes to 60 days. Have you had moments where you really didn't feel your best? You maybe were depressed or down or out and anxious, things weren't happening quick enough? And the answer for almost anybody is yes. And the biggest reason your answer is yes is it happens to all of us. It happens to you. It happens to me. We all get anxious. We all get to the point where things aren't happening quick enough. Why isn't it happening now? Or you get to the point where you just don't feel very good. I mean, how well are you going to go to the gym when you don't feel really good? Or you don't feel as good as you could? How well are you going to make calls? In sales, I always say it's kind of like having commission breath. People can smell across the room that you're anxious. You need to make the sale, and nobody's going to buy from you. And here's why this is a challenge. Think back the last time you're having one of these challenging days or times, and I'm pretty certain, and I'm 100% certain about this, you were saying something like this to yourself. Odds are you were saying something like, why is this happening to, you know the answer, it's me. And the reason I bring that up is resoundingly all over the earth, I've noticed a very interesting thing about people, is that all human beings who don't get what they want in this world focus on their problems and not on their solutions. They focus on, why don't I have enough money? They focus on, how do I get more sales? They focus on all this stuff, and they're not focused on changing their situation. They're focused on fixing it. They're focused on Band-Aiding it, and they're really focused on their problem and not their solution. And some people have thought they've, solved this by really getting into helping other people and really into the personal development thing, and you go out there and you don't focus on your problems. You focus on everybody else's. And I truly believe the most selfish people on earth are the ones that give everything to everyone else and really nothing to themselves. And I know for you, for an absolute fact in your life, if you start taking care of you and understanding you better, things are going to change very, very quickly in your life when you start focusing on solutions. So the biggest reason people fail is they're looking to logically solve a problem. Number two is they're focused on problems, not solutions. And the third thing is they're not in the right emotional state of mind. Like, you haven't figured out how to get yourself to feel good the way you need to more often than not. And I'm going to tell you that if you're not where you want to be in your life right now, congratulations, you are in a very, very good place. And the reason I'm bringing that up is I remember when I told you earlier about the middle class, the biggest problem in the middle class is you really don't have to do anything. You have enough or more to get by. You have no drive. I mean, it's not built in a drive. You have to develop a drive. But when you're poor, if you don't like to be there, you have to do something, because if not, you're stuck there. Middle class mentality, which is called complacency, you stay stuck, and it's ingrained in the majority of the nervous system of all of us. So now that you understand really what stops you from making the decisions, taking actions, getting your perceptions, let me share with you how to change some of those things. Because you might be saying, like, Michael, that's cool, I get it, my kind of negative or whatever it is, I get it, but how do I do something different with what it is that you're telling me? Well, the answer is real simple, and the answer comes down to you're going to have to learn to understand yourself, how to get yourself to do what it is you need to do on a regular basis, really understand what drives you to take the actions you need to take. And for most people, what drives us is completely different than what's being sold to the general public. It's completely different than anything you've been told before, and it's completely counterintuitive, yet it works every single time. Like, I have no idea why, if you get Tabasco in your eye, that if you put ketchup on it, it makes the pain go away. I don't know why. It could be an acid, alkaline thing. I have no clue, but it works. I never had to do it before, but I know people that have, and it worked. It's one of those strange, weird cures. So I realized a long time ago, I don't care about what makes sense. I only care what works in life. And one of the things that I've realized is that for most people, you set goals, you have New Year's resolutions, things that fire you up, things that you want to do. You got your why, and you got something that drives you. And I applaud that, because you need that. But that is 1% of the puzzle. And when Ken and I were talking earlier, we were talking about the focus factor and getting stuff out there and getting the focus set up and getting you guys focused. That is huge. Yet we also want to work with not just getting you focused, getting you to take the actions you need to take on a regular basis. Focus is necessary. Action creates consistency, and consistency creates cash flow. Consistency creates happiness. Consistency creates the body you desire. Consistency creates the spirituality you want, the intimate relationships, the sex life you want, whatever it is in your life that you want. It's the consistency that is going to make all the difference in your life. And the consistency gets created when you understand what motivates you to do what it is you want in your life. And the best way I can describe this is take a look at goal setting. And I can ask you, and Ken, you can tell me, if you can ask this to the group, and let's get real honest answers, how many of you have set goals of things that you want in the last, and let's get a little head count here of some people, and they could type in the box. How many people have set goals in the last 12 months or even last month, and have economic goals, health goals, or anything, or even the last 10 years? How many of you have set goals? Can we get a list of people? I've asked this of audiences all over the world, almost 1 million people, and I've gotten the same answers from everybody. Most people set goals. Is there a way to check if they can just type in, yes, I've set goals, yes, I've done it?
All sorts of yeses. Yes, yes, I have.
Now, I want you to answer this now. How many of you have not achieved the majority of things that you went for? So just put, didn't get it, and didn't work, didn't get it. How many of you have set way more goals than you've achieved in your life? Just put, that's me. Just type that to me, and if that's me.
Yeah, we're seeing it. It's unanimous.
Okay.
Yeah, and did not get it. That's me. Didn't get them. That's me. Yeah, it's all the same.
Yeah, and then this is the interesting thing, and they're still going to do it this year. They're still going to set freaking goals this year, and they're still not going to get them, and here's why. And this is where you and I would come into play together, which is so cool, because it puts the whole coin together for everybody. Put 2 coins together and get $1, okay, instead of putting, you know, 1 coin together and you get a coin and I get a coin. And the reason I'm bringing this up to you guys is the way to get your goals is not just setting them, it's spending more time figuring out how to get them than setting them. Spend an hour, spend 10 minutes, spend a week setting your goals, spend the rest of the time figuring out how to actually achieve them, because the idea of just write it down and it'll work for you is great, but really how do you get yourself to consistently do it is really what's going to make the difference. So imagine that I lined up like 100 people, all walks of life, ages, ethnicities, colors, creeds, religions, sizes in your neighborhood, and I lined them all up and said, let's go get our goals. You got rich people in there, poor people in there, happy people in there, pissed off people, a little bit of everything. And I said, let's go get our goals to these 100 people. And you guys all know the metaphor. If I come back 6 months later and said, how many of you guys got your goals, economic, health, relationship, whatever it was, that you didn't already have in your life? Here's the interesting thing. 97% of them would not have achieved what it is they wanted. 3% would. So that's 3 people out of 100 are going to get what it is they want. So math would say I should ask the 3 people what they did, figure out what it is, tell everyone else to do it. This is what the personal development industry is about. Find people who have succeeded, teach other people how to be like them. What did Richard Branson do? What does Donald Trump do? Modeling success of other people. I love that idea. Okay, so I would do that, grab the 3 people. What'd you guys do? Oh, I did this. I wrote down what I wanted. I went for it. I motivated myself. I said, great, let's do a little explanation to the rest of the people. So I went back to the 97 that failed, and the 4 of us, the 3 of them and me, we taught everybody how to succeed. And we came back 6 months later and said, how many of you guys do it? Here's the saddest thing. Still, none of them would have pulled it off. And I said, wait, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe they need subliminal tapes. So I make subliminal tapes, give it to them. Guess what? 6 months later, they still haven't succeeded. And the biggest reason why they haven't succeeded is they haven't figured out what motivates them and how to get the perceptions in line in their life to understand how to get them where they desire to go. And this is going to be some of you, this will be over your head, this conversation. Some of you, it's going to be right on track. Others of you are going to ask me stuff about this later, and this is huge, what I'm about to share with you. And here's what it is. 97% of the world is attempting to do something that will never work for them. For instance, if you're an able-bodied person and you walk, I bet you walk well enough to walk down the street. Okay, as long as you're healthy enough, I bet you can get down the street. And you'll do it well. Yet if I take your right shoe off, put it on your left foot, and your left shoe off, put it on your right foot, odds are with the wrong shoe on the wrong foot, you're not going to walk as well. And the reason why is you're doing something backwards that should seem like it's just walking. But it's different now. It's like bowling. Let's say you're a good bowler and you can bowl 200, 250 in a game, 300. And you're good with your right hand, and I make you bowl now with your left. You're not going to do as well with your left. And the reason why you're not going to do as well as your left is it's opposite of what works best for you. So for most people are attempting to motivate themselves through something called inspiration. Now, inspiration very simply means knowing enough that you care, okay, and caring enough that you want to. Now, what I mean by that is knowing enough that you can, forgive me, and caring enough that you want to. So most of you know enough to make more money. Pick up the phone, save your money, get investments, don't overspend, live below your means. I mean, it's just common sense. You know this stuff, but you're still not doing it. And here's why. You know it, and you should care about it, because let me just be really blunt. Having more money is easier. I'm telling you, it's easier than not having money. You stress a lot less when you know you don't have to worry about money anymore. You and I know that living a longer time and being healthy at it is a very good idea, and eating that chocolate cake is probably not smart when you want to lose 10 pounds, but you still eat the cake. And the reason why you still eat the cake is your brain hasn't been designed to do what it is that you want it to do, because this isn't what really motivates people. What motivates people, 3% of the world is motivated by inspiration. 97% of the people, me, Ken, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs when he was alive. I mean, the reason why he was so motivated by getting the iPhone 4S out by the end of his life was this. He didn't want to not do his best. He wasn't motivated by pleasure. He was motivated by pain. He had to go for what it is he wanted. He explains it in his book. The guy wrote about it so well. And the reason why is he was motivated by something called desperation. He understood his nervous system. Now, for a lot of you, you have a nervous system. You're very nervous, and you don't have the confidence. You procrastinate because you're nervous about it. What he had is nerves and a system. He understood what things meant. And the reason why is a lot of us miss how to drive yourself to succeed. And one of the first things is you can't misread the message. Most people misread the message. And what I mean by that is, let's just give you an example. When you go to the mirror and you're 5 pounds overweight, and you could tell it was holiday time, you went to the all-you-can-eat buffet. We've all been there before we gained 5, 10 pounds. We've done it. I'm sure you've done it. I've done it. And when you look in the mirror and your clothes don't fit right, here's what most people do. You go back in the closet and you put on something that fits a little better. You ignore the problem. A lot of us do this. Or you look at your bank account. It's not what you want to be there. It's like, oh, man, it happened again. I have no money left. I only have 10 grand in the account, 2 grand in the account, 500 bucks. And you go to bed. You get depressed. So for you, not having money means depressed, freaks out, nervous, and you quit. Some people, you fall off your diet or you fall off your plan that you were going to go for, and instantly it triggers in your brain the failure program, and you don't succeed, instead of understanding that your body and your mind and your heart want to work perfect for you. And the biggest reason why you gain 5 pounds from overeating is that is your body with a pre-programmed warning mechanism saying, look, dumbass, you just gained 5 pounds. Get your ass to the gym. I don't know a nicer way to say it. When you feel guilty because you don't have enough money in your bank account, that's not telling you to be sad and cry. It's saying time to do something different. See, most people, they fail in life because your perceptions are off. And when you feel guilty about something you did that hurt people's feelings, let me tell you something. That guilt, the good kind of guilt, that when you shouldn't have done it guilt, not someone's making you feel guilty, is reminding you, don't do that again. It's like your own heaven and hell on earth. Whatever it is, it's the emotions that you feel, and most people misread the message. They misread the perceptions. They misread what it is they want, and they look to force themselves through the change. Because there's really only 2 ways that change gets created. Number 1 is change your actions. Now, a lot of us have done this. You've done this. You've changed your actions in your life. You've decided to work out. You do it for a week. You sabotage yourself. You don't do it anymore. You start making money for a year or 2, and then you fall off. For 6 months or 6 weeks, you procrastinate. You make procrastination a lifestyle. Procrastination is reminding you, don't do this anymore. Find a way to get past this. The second way is, I said it earlier, is you're going to have to change those perceptions that you have in your life. And if you don't find someone to help you do this, nothing's going to change for you. Because wouldn't it be amazing, let's say you're looking to get in better shape, wouldn't it be amazing if that when you saw something you shouldn't eat, you never considered eating it, like you looked at it and didn't want it? I had a guy over recently at the house, and he plays college football for Arizona State. Very good, very well-known person. If I mentioned his name, he didn't get his permission, but if I mentioned his name, you would know who he is if you follow sports at all. And what was interesting about him was when we offered cake at the end of the night, I wasn't going to eat any because I didn't really want any at the moment. I've been telling myself it isn't the best thing for me, but he wouldn't even consider it. He said, I got practice tomorrow. It's an out. I don't want it. And for a lot of us, wouldn't it be amazing if you really wouldn't consider making under $1 million a year because it wasn't who you are? Wouldn't it be amazing if just a person like you wouldn't even consider eating the cake in the first place? Wouldn't it be amazing if you just knew you were a great communicator and that's who you were, and you said what you're supposed to say, did what you needed to do, followed through the way you needed to follow through? That's really where change takes place in your life, because it's really, most people are looking to just change your actions, and the actions is the first place to get started. But the biggest reason why we're changing our actions isn't to get new results. The reason we're changing our actions is to change our perceptions, because once you realize that you've done it before, you can do it again, your perceptions change, everything starts to change in your life. So really, how to get the change that you're looking for is that you're going to have to overcome a very simple model. How do you get yourself to do the things you know you need to do? How do you get yourself to consistently do them? And how do we make it so it's who you are and you really understand yourself? Because at the end of the day, and I'm sure Ken will want me to talk about this a little later, when you set goals for your life, they really shouldn't be about things that you want. Your goals should literally be about what you need to be doing. For instance, one of my goals for this year, I don't set really long-term goals for myself. I set things for like Tuesday. And I wrote down on a board last Friday, because I left town, and I do this every single day, and it said Friday's plan. It said wake up with energy, exercise for health and energy, and then push myself to be the best Micheal Bernoff I could possibly be today for my family and those around me. And then when I added this, I added a couple things at the bottom. I said, today, become more decisive than you were yesterday. Work on your creativity and challenge yourself. And I wrote that down. I said, wow, wouldn't that be amazing? Just a simple thing for the day. Just find a way to challenge yourself today. Do something different than you normally do. Be more decisive than you currently are. Have more confidence than you already have. Your goal shouldn't be about things, items, places you want to go. That gets you turned on. That gets you excited. What actually gets you to achieve it is something completely different. So let me just explain. Goals turn you on the way you typically write them. And your brain creates dopamine. And if you don't know what that is, that's the same drug you get from eating a hamburger. You get turned on from the hamburger, it turns you on. I don't eat meat, but I know when I used to, I'd get excited about a hamburger, then a dopamine flush in my brain, and instantly I feel really good about it. I feel tired an hour later, but it was a stimuli that really fired me up. I could have just thought about the burger and been just as excited as actually eating it, but for most people, you haven't figured out how to use the chemicals in your brain. So the idea of setting a goal turns you on so much that you actually never even have to achieve it. For most people, the thought of it is enough of a high that you never have to achieve it. If you do want to achieve it, you should have a secondary set of goals. And here's what it should be. Thing that I want. Get your focus down, your business, your life, your health. Get all of that organized. You need that. You need that. Here's where the activation comes in. Here's the point of the whole call. Very simple. Make goals about becoming something better than you are. For instance, if your goal is to get in better shape, and you're not a decisive person that follows through, you will never do it. I don't know a better way to say it. So what's your real goal? Become a decisive person that follows through. Don't put down stop procrastinating because that's focusing on your problem. The key element to all of you getting this, I'm going to take questions here in a couple of seconds, is figure out your goal. Then figure out what's missing of who you are, personality, traits, strategies, things you need. What's missing that if you applied these things and you started working at making them your goal, because my goals for this year are patience, creativity. My goals are more value-based, virtue-based, standing up for myself more, feeling more alive, being more congruent with myself. I have all these little ideas that are enormous, and the reason why is they're not about achieving stuff. They're about achieving something and becoming someone. Because Jim Rohn always said for years, one of my earliest mentors, Jim Rohn, said very, very simply, he said, in order to get what you want, it's not about, he said something so simple, it's not what you want, it's who you become that gets you what it is that you want. And that's the big thing that I want you guys to get, is you need to figure that out. And you're going to need some practice, people to work with you, people to help with you, and really, really get your focus on track with that. So I know I covered 1,000 things, Ken. I would love to go into topics and ideas and answer questions and help people. And I believe at this point I've overloaded a lot of brains out there, and they've got a lot of different content. I give them a lot of different pieces of the puzzle. And I would love to just answer anything I can right now to help as many people as we can to get what it is that they're looking for.
Awesome. Well, let me stop for a second, because, and I'm glad that you did what you did, because I didn't know where you were going either. Guys, after spending 5 days with Michael, not just in Scottsdale, but also on his call to action program, the thing that completely changed things for me was what you just heard. Okay, I mean, obviously there was a lot more to it than that, but to think about the goal thing and how goals clearly haven't worked for us, all of us, right? It's not about the goal, it's about changing who we are and how we operate, because then the goals will come. And for me, it's about being decisive. Yeah, Sabina says, so is the bottom line actually to be more? Yeah, for me, Sabina, I answered Michael's questions, and he goes into far more detail than what he did, obviously in this 1 hour. But for me, it was about making a decision and making a decision, taking action. And there are a few other things that I'm working on too in terms of being a better me. That allows me to get things done, and certainly making a decision and acting on the decision allows me to move forward rather than being, well, should I, shouldn't I, and then never taking any action. Does that make sense? So what
makes total sense.
Yeah, I mean, and that blew my mind. And the funny thing is, Michael, when you did that exercise, I was sort of, and you were working with a couple different people individually, and everyone else understood what you were asking them. And of course, they were on the hot seat and weren't sure. But I was baffled too. I was sitting at the edge of the pool here in Bangkok, listening to this, and I was just like, "Oh God, what is he trying to? What is he getting at?" Because I was in the exact same position of being facing the obstacle, but because it was my obstacle, I didn't see it. And we see everyone else's stuff, but we don't always see our own. How many of you are like that? Put in the chat box. You can totally find the problem with everybody else, but yours, you're just blind to. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of me's. Yes, you caught me. So what questions do you guys have for Michael? What would you like to address right now? Because I told you this was about you. So let's work on what issues you may have. I'm seeing a lot of yes, I see things wrong with everybody else, but not with myself.
Yeah, if anybody wants to, I mean, I don't know if anyone's on the phone, if they're online. If anyone's on the phone, I will gladly even take a live call right now.
Cool. Yeah, who wants to do a live thing? Just put in the chat.
I mean, I can help anybody pretty much with anything in a couple of seconds. I can figure out what skills missing in their life and pretty much help them develop it right now on the phone. It'll help everybody. I mean, it literally, if you're not going to fight me and you're really going to ask a legitimate question like, hey, Michael, here's my challenge, I can pretty much give you a skill to work on in about a minute. I can hear your language, and I'm pretty good at deciphering this. Like when you walk into a doctor's office and you tell them your symptoms, I'm 100% on this, and I will blow your mind. You'll feel like I've known you your whole life.
I would jump at this, guys. And some of you are missing people. Okay, Tina says she'll volunteer. Okay, Tina, what I'll do is, do you have a microphone? Because I'll unmute you. So let me just go and get the attendee list, and I'll unmute you and see if we can go this way. Let me see over here, Tina. Here we go. Okay, I'm not sure which one you are. I think it's this one. Let's try it. Okay, Tina, you're unmuted. Are you there? Tina?
Hey, Tina? Can you hear me, Tina?
Let's see. Let me try the other one. Okay, I've got two Tinas. Okay, let's try this one here. Hang on. I can't unmute that one. Okay, Tina, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? No, she's saying hello, typing hello, but I can't. I guess your microphone's not working. Let me try to do this.
Yeah, I'll need someone with a microphone, and I don't want to. And those of you guys stay on the line for this because this is going to be very impressive for you.
Yeah. Okay. One more. I'll try one more time. Otherwise, someone else get up. Put yourself on deck. Let me know you want to play. Let's see. If I try one more time. Okay. Hang on. Try one more time here. Okay. I've unmuted you. Tina, can you try talking? No. Okay. Let's see. All right, let's take a look at Victoria. Let's see. Victoria, I'm going to unmute you.
You got to have a microphone.
Okay, Victoria, are you there? Do you have a microphone that works? No, Victoria has no mic. Okay, sorry, that's not going to work.
Okay, well, we can just, you and I can go back and forth the questions if you can let someone else just jumps out.
Okay, let's tell you what. I'll just read it. Victoria says, I'm a realtor in a very popular area. How do I make it so I can stand out with only 5 years of experience? I want to be the standout and blow the competition out.
Okay, so how long has she been doing this?
5 years.
Okay, how successful has she been in the last 5 years?
Victoria, how successful have you been in the past 5 years? She says very, very successful. She makes $200,000 a year.
So what's the challenge?
Yeah, what's your challenge? Sounds like you're doing great. But it sounds like she wants to do more. It sounds like 200 isn't enough, which is great. She wants to be 500 or more. Good. I like the way you're thinking.
Okay, so here's the deal. So let me ask you this. Is she really committed to making 500 or more? It sounds like a really good idea, which is a commitment. Is she really committed to doing what it takes and understand what it is, or does it just sound like something she wants?
She says yes. She says she has another job, too. Well, that could be one thing. I'm 100% committed. If you're 100% committed, then can I ask this question? Why do you have another job? I'm a teacher, too. Wow. So you're a teacher and doing imagine, wow.
There's your answer right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm not saying pick between the two. I'm not going to really, I can absolutely help her. If we could talk on the line, it would be a totally different story. You know me, I'm not getting the language interaction. I'm getting a translated text type, which is totally different. It's kind of like breaking up with someone over a text message. They have no idea why. Right. Do you know what I mean? So to answer your question with the real estate thing, here's what I realized. If you want to stand out, you're going to have to do things different. Here's my recommendation. It's going to require a higher level of communication and influence to make the kind of money you want to make. It's going to require selling a bigger level of houses. I have you met Anthony Ken. He was one of our students that came down to the HIT event, and he's a real estate agent in a very small market. Average home sales $150,000, and he made $400,000 last year. And he sold almost 200 houses himself. And the reason why is he totally changed his communication, his influence, his persuasion. He sped up the process. Everybody gives him referrals. He has become a machine that people just want to do business with him. And the biggest reason why he's done that is his influence and persuasion over himself and over other people has taken it to another level. So it requires a different level of communication than the one you currently have. So if I were to say what would you work on, persuasion and communication. I don't mean getting one over on people, learning how to influence more people to want to send you more deals, learning how to be more charismatic in a lot of ways, learning how to communicate more effectively with you so you can be better at what it is you do. If you want to just relay that to her that you got that.
And she says, yes, that's what I want.
Okay, and that's what I would work on. So don't make your goal make 500,000. Here's your outcome for the next 6, 8 months, year, whatever it is start working on becoming a better communicator. Start working on influence. Start working on persuasion. Start learning how to get yourself, like the stuff I covered tonight, how do you get yourself to take the actions you need? How do you still love teaching because that's what you love doing and also make money in real estate? How can you close more deals faster? That's really the question. That's what you're looking for. Making 500 grand is cute. The sexy part is being able to do it. And the sexy part is becoming a more influential communicator. I don't mean a list of sales scripts, things to say. I mean being so confident in your delivery that people just want to throw money at you. I want that for you. And you can do that. It's just going to, I'm going to tell you, it'll require a different version of you. So there's your answer on that.
That's what she says. She says you're right, that I think that's my weakness. That's terrific.
And people that say, I think that's my weakness, do not have the confidence they need to have. People that have the confidence, which I know you're working on right now, say, that's me, I know that, I'm going to work on it. Thinking and knowing are two different things, and you're starting to know once you said you think. So that's awesome.
Yeah, awesome. This is great. And we did it by chat. Usually we do this.
Usually I do that type of thing live. Usually you see me face-to-face with somebody. That's cool. We do it by chat. I'm kind of like reading minds through a crystal ball. So.
Well, you know, I mean, I've seen you work both ways. I've seen you work on the phone, and I've seen you work, you know, live in person, and it's
now we just do a text.
Yeah, I mean, we're reaching every modality. Sabina, do you have a microphone? Or Rod, do you have a microphone? Talk to me here, because you have a microphone. Let's get you on. Let's see. If you have a microphone, let me know, because I want you guys to experience Micheal actually in conversation. Sabina has.
And we didn't even talk about doing this earlier. I would have told people to call into the phone line.
Yeah, I know, and I didn't want to. I mean,
it's too late to do that now because I only have about another 15 minutes myself, anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Could get on the phone. Yeah, it's going to be just too late. So we're running kind of behind, and again, it's late for Micheal, and he's been traveling all day, so that's not going to work. But how many of you guys like what you're hearing so far and want to hear more? Let me see your hands here. Just put in the chat box. Because I'm getting such great feedback on this. You know, let me. Yeah, Deborah says this is great. Richard says awesome. Charles, you have a question, Charles? You want to talk about? I'll unmute you. You got one? You got one, Charles? Charles says his mic works.
Let's do it.
Okay, great. All right, let's unlock you. Okay, hang on. Here we go. Let me find you here. All righty, here we go.
Charles?
Hey, Charles. How you doing?
Good, good. Can you hear me?
I got one. Yeah, Charles, I got an idea. How about we solve your challenge so quickly it just goes away and you feel great? You having fun tonight, Charles?
Yes, I am.
So I'm going to ask you a very simple question. One simple question. Here's my favorite question. Ready?
Yes.
What's not perfect in your life currently, Charles?
Oh, wow. There's a lot.
Let's start with one, and we'll go with the most important. What is it?
Money.
Okay. You have too much? You don't know what to do with it?
No.
Okay,
I need it more now than ever, and I'm making it less now than ever.
Okay, very good. The problem is you're focused in the past. How long have you been living in the past?
Oh, boy, probably forever.
Have I ever met you before?
No.
Interesting, I knew that, isn't it? Now, here's my question. Are you focused on your problem or are you focused on your solution when you say I don't have any money?
I think I might be both, but seriously, I think that I'm focusing on the solution.
Let me help you real quick. I already know what your challenge is, and it's so friggin' simple. It's going to change your life, but it's so simple. I want you to be really honest about it. Is there a big difference between passion and doing something?
Incredibly.
You ever met anybody with a church camp high? They came back, but they could talk a good game, but they really didn't live it. You ever met anyone like that? People come back from an event, like a company event, and they're fired up, and a week later it goes away?
Yeah, yeah.
Passion is different than lifestyle. Am I correct?
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you a very simple question. When it comes to making more money, whether it's your business, your job, whatever it is you're working on, I want you to really answer this from an honest standpoint and don't overthink it. Do you have 1 foot in to go for what it is you want, 2 feet in or 1 toe in? I mean, really doing something about it, not talking about it. 1 toe, 1 foot, or 2 feet.
1
and
foot.
If you say 2 feet, I'm going to say that you're lying. What is it?
1 foot.
So you are wishy-washy, as my friend, too often. And what's interesting is you are not that decisive of a person. Am I correct? You're capable of it, but you really haven't decided to say, I'm going to change this, and I am going to make some new decisions, and this week I'm going to start working on this. I'm going to make it happen. I have to do something different. Here's what I'm going to do, and really making decisions because you're half in, half out. Am I correct? You're all in your brain.
Well, maybe. That well, maybe.
Now, you even said maybe, and maybe is an indecisive person. It's yes or no. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. What's interesting is if in the next 30 days you became more decisive, would you be closer to getting what it is you want? You may not be a billionaire in the next 30 days, but if you were more decisive, would you have a better chance of pulling it off?
I'm starting to see an answer.
Are you getting? So let me ask you a question. Let's say Tiger Woods was impatient, and he really screwed up his putting, okay? You getting this? He screws his putting. He's very impatient. Got it? What's more important, working on his putting or his patience?
His patience.
His patience. So what should you do? Work on making money or work on becoming more decisive? Who's first?
I'm being more decisive.
You got it, didn't you, my friend? You know why you haven't been decisive over the years? You lost confidence. You know why you lost confidence? You're not where you're supposed to be. You're capable of so much more. This is like burning flame inside of you that says, what's your name? Forgive me, what was your name?
Charles.
There's a burning flame inside Charles that says, I know Charles is capable of more, and sometimes you see the flame burst up, like, and you go for it. And other times, like, the flame burns down. But really, you're just like, why the hell isn't the flame burning consistently? Why am I not where I'm supposed to be? Instead of saying, how do I get to where I want to be? And once you become a how do I get to where I want to be and stop talking about why it's not working, you're going to get what it is you want in your life. And really it comes down to deciding that where you're at. Remember what I said earlier? Technology success, very simple. Decide that where you're at is not okay and do something about it. Did you hear me? Number 2 is figure out what actions you need to take and figure out how to consistently do them. And 3, change your perception. But here's your perception. You are the ex-rich guy, the ex-moneymaker. I ran into a guy recently that, honestly, he had like a $10 million home. Very successful guy. We used to go to parties at his house. Total the coolest people in town were over there. The guy knew everybody, and he ran into my wife three years ago, and here's what he said. I'm an ex-rich guy. What's his new identity? You know why he has no money anymore? Because he's what? He used to be rich. You hearing me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You're not the guy that's coming back that's making it happen. You're not the guy who's figuring out how to do it again. You're the guy who used to do it, doesn't know how now. That's your identity, so guess what? You'll never get your answer, and you'll always be the guy that's doing this until you change your identity.
Mm-hmm.
Am I speaking clear enough?
Yes.
So, Ken, I don't want to beat anybody up tonight, but I think he's getting it.
Yes, I am, very much so.
Okay, so really, and if you hear the difference in his voice.
I think you are too, Charles.
I'm certain he is. If you hear the difference in his voice, is he's like, I got it. I need to make a decision. I have to do things different. Now, that learning from me doesn't mean overnight. I can get you to take massive action quickly and do things you do not normally do very fast, but just knowing this doesn't do anything. That's logic again. You just got the logic. Now you need to attach the logic to emotion. And if you can learn how to motivate yourself, and I teach lots of people how to do this, then you can get what you want. Really what you're dealing with is a decision-making, motivation, and confidence issue. You're not dealing with a bad market. You're not dealing with I can't sell. You're dealing with those 3 things. And if you had those 3 things, more confidence, more decisive, and knew how to take action and motivate yourself, you and I wouldn't be talking about this. We'd be talking about which project do I work on today to make the most money.
Sure enough.
You getting this, Charles?
Yes, I am.
I'm going to help you in the long term, my friend.
Great, great. Yep.
Very good, very good. Ken, any other questions, thoughts, things you want me to share? I mean, I could do this all night. You know, it's my favorite passion on earth is helping people with this. And it's not tearing people down. It's getting them to see. And Charles, I know for a fact, how many of you learned something right there from what I did with Charles? How many of you felt like I was talking to you? Anybody?
I see people, a lot of people saying this, rewriting personal story, love it. Let's see, Angelina says decisive is the key issue of manifesting in many ways. This is awesome. Yeah, everyone's saying yes, yes, wow. Yeah, because
it's the same 5 things. You took call to action with me. There's 50, 60 people on it, and what's amazing is everyone had the same 6 challenges. I've realized there's only about 6 things that can go wrong. There's only 6 challenges, and 2 of them you could never get. It's kind of like saying, you know, there's a few bugs that are dangerous, and one is a tsetse fly that's only available in one little part of Earth, and you're probably not going to go there anyway, so don't worry about it. There's really 5 things to worry about, not 6. There's like 6 major challenges people have, and 2 of them, trust me, you're never going to get. So there's 4 things you deal with. He's got the classic 3, confidence, decisiveness, and lack of understanding of motivation. Not lack of motivation, lack of understanding of it. Here's what Charles doesn't realize. Where you are in your life, Charles, is a friggin' gift. Being where you don't want to be financially is the most wonderful place to be, and here's why. It's reminding you don't be there. Because if you were where you wanted to be, it's the beginning of laziness.
Yeah,
Very opposite of what people tell people.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I don't know where we are over time. I got 2 more people that actually have mics. If we have time, if not.
Yeah, I got time. I mean, if
right, awesome.
everyone's going to stay on the line, I got time. I just don't want to. I don't want to get to where people are like, well, what about me? I'll take 2 more people.
Okay, great. Let me just find where we were. Was it Victoria? I know I've got Sabina, but I wanted to point.
I got time for 1 more. The next one that pops up, Ken, because I just looked at the time and I only have another 8 minutes.
All right, let me do Sabina here real quickly then. If I can just find it locally. Where's my stuff? And if I missed you, I apologize. Okay, here we go. Okay, Sabina, are you there?
I am.
Awesome.
Sabina,
can everybody hear us?
Where are you from, Sabina?
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee.
Good. I'm going to ask you a simple question. What's not perfect in your life yet?
I'm having to make a really, 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 really hard decision. I have a very successful caregiving business. I've been in it for about 9 years. I'm making good money, better than I have in a long time. And I have an opportunity to go into something that I've been dabbling with and have kind of wanted to do, but I'm scared to.
Okay, I'm gonna help you with something I learned a long time ago. I'm gonna give you a really simple thing because Can I cut you off and help you real quick?
Yes.
Okay, here's what I realized. I'm just gonna tell me if this is correct. There's something you're good at that makes you some money, correct?
Yes.
You currently do. That's the caregiving business, right?
Yes.
It's not your passion, but you're good at it, you like it, makes you a few bucks, and you've become what's called a victim of success. And what I mean by that is, before you had the caregiving business, you did something else, and the caregiving business has taken over as your regular stream of income, am I correct?
Yes.
When I was broke, I'd go to networking events because I had nothing else to do, because I didn't know how to make any money. And then what I did was, eventually I replaced the networking events with seminars that made me money. Then one day, I turned around and said, wow, we do about $1 million a year. How do I get to $3 million? I have no more time. So I have to give up things that make me $300,000 a year to make $3 million. Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, I need to give this up and go do what I want to really do.
No. That's what your brain would tell you first. So the reason you're a victim of success is you are succeeding currently at some level. Am I correct?
Yes.
Here's where your brain is. Here's where your brain. You have been societally, if that's even a word, I went to ASU, so I don't know if that's the correct word. You have socially and from society been taught a very simple thing called on or off. What is the thing you've been told? What's it called?
Societally what?
You've been taught that you have to put things either on or what? What's the word I said, on or what?
On or off.
Okay, very good. So here's you. You're saying I can, even a lot of people do, I can quit my day job, we'll call it your day job, to go for my passion, right?
Yeah.
So it's all or nothing. I'm going to quit my day job. There'll be no more money coming in, but that scares me because I don't know if my business will work, correct?
Yeah, you're right there.
Okay. This is where you have to learn what's called option number 3. Okay? It's like a 3-way script from a movie. I'm going to bring in the third character, okay? And here's the way this works. It's very simple. Here's the third character. Either quit the business, quit your caregive business, and go for what it is you want. Those are the 2 options you have right now. Or don't quit the caregiver business and go for this thing part-time, correct? Option 3, put the care business on hold for 30 days, go for the other one, in 30 days reevaluate your decision. Did you hear what I just said?
I did.
You never gave yourself the 30-day money-back guarantee, did you, on yourself, did you?
No, I don't think I have.
Now, how much easier, how much pressure does that take off you saying, you know what, I'm going to go for it for 30 days, and in 30 days I can reevaluate. In 30 days, not I can quit. 30 days I can what?
Quit.
Reevaluate. I didn't say quit. 30 days what?
Reevaluate.
So how about you say, you know what, here's my 3 options. I can quit the care business and go for the other thing, or I can do the care business part-time and go for the other thing, or the third thing is I can go for the other thing and I'll do it as hardcore as I can for 30 days, and at the end of 30 days, if it's not doing what I need it to do, or it's not heading in the right direction, I can reevaluate from there and just start the care business again, correct?
It's not quite that simple, but it is correct.
I know, because you're caring for a person. You have to put them on hold, correct?
No, I'm caring for 28 people.
I understand. Well, person, 20 people doesn't really matter. What I'm getting at is, could you have someone help you and bring them into the play where you can put it on hold? So is that simple? But you're not solution-oriented. You're either in or out, all or nothing, correct? Could you for the next 30 days do like a lease to own with somebody, saying, hey, I'm going to bring you in as a person that can manage my business. If you want to buy it 30 days from now, you can have it if I want to get rid of it. But let's start with you coming in, and I'm going to teach you, and I'm going to mentor you and teach you how to take over for me so you can be my part-time help. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, it really would.
Haven't really thought about that, have you?
Not exactly, no.
Okay.
That's why I'm talking.
Yeah, I know. So really your challenge isn't do I do it or not. My challenge is what other solutions are out there? How do I become more creative? See, I believe if you were more creative, you'd be better at business.
Okay.
I believe if you had more options and learned how to create more choices in your life, you'd be more successful. And I believe if you opened up your ideas to not just in or out, and you opened up your mind to some creativity, new ideas, new solutions. Like, this is what I teach people. Like, give yourself all the possible options. Like, look at like a choose your own adventure. Put down 100 possible ways that you could do this thing that you want to do. Wouldn't that be amazing if you had 40 options versus 2?
I think that would be overwhelming, but yes, it would be.
Good, and then if it was overwhelming, what do? Narrow them down. But the problem is you've narrowed them down to only one option right now, do or don't, and that's scary. Anytime it's do or don't, we always become indecisive.
Okay.
If you make it do or don't or do for a while, you'll do it, at least for a while. And if in 30 days from now you don't want to do it anymore, don't do it anymore.
It's simple enough. Thank you.
It is pretty simple, isn't it? Doesn't it solve the challenge?
Yes, it does.
Very good. And I got you laughing and having fun. You're too friggin' serious about something you love so much, right?
Absolutely.
Start laughing. Start having fun. This is where people say, like, man, Mike, you're like a magician. You get people that are so serious to laugh. You get people that are angry to be happy. Isn't that the point of it all? Like, I take a depressed person. I don't make them not depressed because that's called blah. I make them happy. You get them to laugh. Here's a woman who can't make a decision. How long has this been burdening you?
What, 8 months?
8 months. And in 8 months, we talked for 8 minutes, not even, and we have a solution now. Do it for 30 days. If you don't like it, do something else. Very good. I love it. I love it. So, Ken, this is fun. I mean, I love helping people, and this is really what it's about, is literally changing your perceptions. Instead of looking at it as on or off, look at it as a multiple solution, multiple choices, different stuff. So what else can I cover? What else can I tell everybody about? I got a couple minutes left. I mean, what else is important? Any questions, things you want to ask me, Ken, or anybody else here on the line? I think we got a good understanding. I'm pretty sure most people got a really good taste of what I do.
You know, I've been getting all sorts of feedback saying this is great. Michael's amazing. He's straight to the point. Oh my gosh, I've been a victim of success too. I mean, everyone is resonating with what's been going on here. And
yeah, victim of success. I mean, everyone who made money in 2006 and 7 in real estate out here in Arizona, they became victim of success because they made $500,000, $300,000, $200,000, and they don't make them now. So they're addicted to what used to be, and they're wondering why they're pissed off that they make 150 grand now.
Yeah, well, I was one of those guys years ago. I made all sorts of money.
Yep.
All you had to do was breathe, and then the game changed. So, yeah,
But if you were more flexible and more in touch emotionally and better communicator, more persuasive than you are even now, when the game changed, you would have seen it change, and you would have changed with it and made even more money. That's what you've learned how to do now.
Absolutely. Now, now I know some of you guys are out there listening, going, "My God, he's pretty intense." Yeah, Michael's intense, but you know something? If we are not getting what we want, what we've done in the past isn't getting us there. Do we not need someone who's going to be intense to be able to say, wait a minute, wake up? Sabina just sent the text saying, thanks so much, with exclamation points. I mean, it's absolutely true. Deborah says, amazing, give up the past and focus on the current options available now. Let me ask you a question. When are you doing the next call to action, Michael?
Well, it's funny. I have that course has just been amazing this year because a lot of people, a lot of the ones I've worked with, we've done a lot of people sending us people, and we did something weird this month. We've added 2 call to actions this month because we got so inundated with the January, told everyone not to set goals and actually get what they want. So we just got done with one in January last week, and we have 2 in February now. And one is the beginning of the month, and one is like in next week, and I have a few spots open for that, and one is towards the end of the month, and I have like a couple of spots, and then we have March. So I have 3 of them running in the next 45 days, live with me. No, live with me.
Cool. Now, I mean, I took the liberty of creating a link, but I didn't know what we were going to do and whether you had availability, and we didn't have much chance to talk about it. Do you guys want to do a call to action with Michael? I want to hear more about what that's about and how you can take what you've learned so far and really put it into action. I mean, it's 5 days. It's 5 intense days. but it's remarkable. Everyone's saying, yeah, okay, why don't we spend a few minutes then and talk about call to action.
Okay.
I really think that, you know, if you enjoy what we've done for the past hour or so, you will love this. And again, it has changed the way I'm doing my business right now, and my entire team is like, wow, we've really changed. It's huge. So I want you guys to be able to experience this too, and we'll see what we can put together for you. Okay, so
I guess the best way to explain this, Ken, and put it in a nutshell, is we're kind of talking tonight about you're going to have to be someone that you're going to have to be a better version of you. You're not going to have to be someone you're not. You're going to have to be a better version of you. I'm sure we can all agree to that. I mean, does everybody agree you got to be a better version of you to get what you want? For sure everybody agrees. And I want you to imagine that in a mirror in front of you was the person that you desire to be. They're like 5 feet away from you in the mirror. Not who you are now, but like the person you desire to be like a year from now, 2 years from now. They're confident, they're persuasive, they're making more money, they feel better about their lives, they're in better shape, their health is more important. They don't just have their goals, they're living as a successful person. And the reason he brings up call to action, Ken, and this is my best way of explaining it, is if the person you desire to be is 5 feet away from you in the mirror, and all you had to do is link up with the guy or the girl in the mirror and walk right up to them for that 5 feet and become them, it's right in front of you. And if it took you 6 months to walk a foot, and it's only 5 feet, it's going to take 2.5 years, and you become the person you desire to be. If you take something like call to action, 1 foot could happen in a week, and then another one a week later, and in 6 months from now, you wind up being the person you desire to be, or however it works. Yet behind you is another mirror, and really what that is really where you are currently in your life. And the reason I'm telling you this is it's moments that you get to decide that you want to do something different, whether it's me, somewhere else, whether you just hear this replay of this 100 times or you decide to work with me. The biggest reason I'm bringing this up right now is that person you desire to be is so much closer to who you are right now. We just got to like remove a few very simple things and adjust some minor things in your life. It's going to make a big difference. So here's call to action in a nutshell. It's 5 days of you and I working together, me kicking your butt, holding your hand, and it's freaking fun. Like, he calls it intense, but you'll laugh. You'll think it's fun. You're going to learn so much. And my guarantee, and you can write this down, is I'll get you to get more done in 5 days of stuff that matters in your life than you've done in 5 years or 5 months guaranteed. So in 5 days with me, you're going to get more done than you have in 5 months, and most people do that within the first 3 days. I don't mean more breaths. I don't mean, you know, you're going to walk more steps. I mean, literally, like, if you've been avoiding that book getting it done, you're going to start the process. If you have your feet haven't seen the inside of your gym shoes in years, you're going to go do it. The woman would want to really work on a real estate, man, we're going to start plans in action to make stuff happen. So call to action's 5 days of working with me. It's over the phone. We do it internationally. You can do it through Skype, however you choose to do it. I have clients from 40 different countries who have taken the course. I've worked with tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of people with 100% success rate. It's freaking amazing. And it does 5 simple things. You're going to start making more decisions in your life, start living the way you really want to live. Your communication gets better. You understand other people better. You understand yourself better. You're going to take care of your health. Whatever it is you want to do, you're going to start doing. The second thing we're going to work on is motivating yourself into action, and how to teach you how to motivate yourself to do the things you want to do. And you're going to have a very, very simple plan of how to do it by the end of the second day. And I run it twice a day depending on the time of the month. There's one course this month that's in the morning, one's at night. I've had people in Australia take it at 2 in the morning. It's 5 days of your life. Whatever it is, you're going to friggin' love it. The third day is how to get out of your comfort zone. And what I mean by out of your comfort zone is start doing the things that matter. You don't need to jump out of a plane to prove something to somebody, but you might have to get out of your comfort zone of the story you have right now and start living the way you want. And the last 2 days are integration days, and I'm going to teach you very simply how to, you know, set up a plan for yourself without really goal setting, how to set a plan that most people set their 5-year plan for their life, and the majority of people get it in 18 months. And I'm telling you, Ken is on his way to, he just took it in December. I guarantee, because we've talked a bunch of times about this, what he planned to have 5 years down the road, he'll see in 6 to 8 months from now. And the reason why is he owned it, he jumped in, and he's doing it. So I got direct sales people that used to make $18,000 a year to make $400,000 or $500,000 a year that have taken the course. I got 70-year-old women that run marathons now. I have couples that got back together. People finally, after 30 years, needed to get divorced, did it. I got people that make more money. They finally get out of their story, and you build your confidence and do the things you really want to do in your life. So if more confidence, more decisiveness, becoming a better communicator, and having me in your court sounds like a good idea, call to action is really simple. So is that a good way of explaining it, Ken? That's how I would explain it to somebody.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to explain it. It really is life changing. I mean, it's been remarkable remarkable event, and you do
it's
want to
simple.
add. Yeah, it is simple. I mean, there's work. I mean, let's face it. Michael's going to challenge you to do things, and he'll give you challenges that you'll create for yourself because it's individualized, obviously.
Very individualized.
It will require that you actually do something. You can't just sit there passively and listen, because trust me, it won't work. But when you do take the action, that's why it's called call to action. When you do participate, when you do give yourself the luxury and the honor of playing, everything changes. And it is really, really changed so much for me, for the way I think and the way I am. And I mean, I just came off of a 7-day marketers cruise. Some of you may have actually been on it with me. My whole experience of just that event was massive, and the results that came off of that were incredible, so much different than just the event last year. So I'm seeing a huge change, and I know that every one of you, when you put yourself into this environment, will have similar results. I mean, there's just no question about it. How many of you like just the feeling and want to experience the feeling that Sabina had just a few minutes ago, or that Charles had just a few minutes ago, of getting more clarity of where they are and what they want? How many of you would like to experience that for yourself? Just put it in the chat box.
And I have a lot more time with them, so it won't be as direct, which is cool. It will be very direct, but it won't have to be as quick, because you get over a 5-day period. I'm sure Ken and you and everybody else had like dozens of those in a 5-day period versus just one little thing like that. So it's very, very individualized. For those of you that have never, I have marketers all over the world that tell me I'm an idiot. Why do you do it this way? Why don't you automate everything you do? And there's nothing wrong with automating. We're going to work towards that in the future. But right now I do all the calls live myself. The lines are open. You and I are talking. You're going to feel like you're getting one-on-one coaching without paying my $10,000 price. And I'm not saying that for a sales pitch reason. I mean, that's what I charge. You can spend a day with me, 12 hours. It's 10 grand. And it's cheap because I got a guy like Anthony who's been working with me for years, and he pays me, he's spent about 90 grand working with me in the last 4 or 5 years, working together. And the reason why is working marketing, different things, but he's made an extra $4 million. And I'm gonna tell you, 90 grand to 4 million, I would do that any day of the week. I don't know about you, but I would do that. I would give 3 million to make 4.
Absolutely, all day long. No question about it. It just makes perfect sense. So it's I just, by the way, I'm going to put this on the screen in just 1 second. I put a link up for you guys, which we'll get to you. I just got to find my screen sharing thing here. So for you, here we go. All right. So it's prosperitycourse.com/call to action. CALL 2 action. And Victoria asked a really great question. Can we focus on more than 1 or 2 things? I want to work on so many things. I'm going to let you handle that one, Michael.
Yeah, you can focus on anything you want. And this is the thing. I'm not sure what link you put up, and I know Ken, we've shared this with a few people you know, and I wanted to help you guys out as much as possible. And the link that you see, and I don't know if they can see it on the screen now. I'm not in front of it. They can see it.
It should be on the screen, right? And I'll put it in the chat box in a second.
Yeah, put it in the chat box. And here's the deal. Normally this, I'm just going to tell you this real quick. Normally this is a $500 course, which is cheap at $500. To work with me for $500 is like, you're going to feel like you ripped me off. But what I did for you guys here, and I'm pretty sure it's the link that we've used in the past before, it's $299. And we added something to make this easier for you guys to make a decision. And there's a couple things that we've done here. Number one is, I added a $200 off. That's fine. That's cute, and I'll give you $200 off, help you make a decision. Fine. Makes it easier for you financially. It's very important. I understand money. That's it. Second thing is I added a couple extra important things for you, and they're strategic. They're not just a bunch of here's 15 bonuses so you feel good about your life. It's strategic stuff like confidence. I have 2 confidence audios that we're going to give you. Whether it's on the page or not, I'm going to give it to you for the first 10 or so of you that enroll, and then I'll pull this off the page. But it's like a $90 program I have called Last Minute Confidence and Core Confidence. And it's a very simple audio. I'll mail that to you right away, physically in the mail, no matter where you live. I'll pay the shipping. And what happens is you're going to get a CD, A, how to increase your confidence, and number 2, you're going to get a CD that puts you in the right state of mind. Because imagine, Sabina, you're about to go to a tough interview, you got to deal with your kids, you got to have a tough conversation with your husband or wife, whatever it is. Here's an audio you pop in, you listen for an hour, one time through, and then you listen to the last track, the 5-minute ending track, and you can get yourself in the right state of mind anytime you want in a matter of minutes. It's absolutely phenomenal for you guys to hear, and I'm going to encourage you to pick that up. I included a Persuasion set. You're going to get an hour of my 1-hour Persuasion audio. I'm going to ship you that tonight. I included an accountability partner, and this is to answer her question. You're going to get immediately a call from our office within the next 5 days. And if you want to take right away the first come, first serve basis, I only have 5 spots open for the course starting Sunday, the Super Bowl Sunday, the 3rd. It starts in the afternoon that day, and it goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the morning. And they also have one, and 2 weeks later, it's a first come, first serve basis because a lot of you and a lot of you are going to want to do this, so I encourage you to go very quickly. The expediency of this is based on first come, first serve. You're going to get a call from one of our accountability partners that have been trained by me to find out what it is you really want, so we can narrow it down to 2 or 3 things and figure out what those things are, get you to get real about them, and then they relay that to me. They work with you through the whole week. So here's me kicking your butt and holding your hand, and they're working with you as well. It's a $250 value. I'm going to throw in for free. I don't always give that out, but you guys are going to get that as a gift here today. And so I'm going to ship you a couple audios. I'll mail some stuff out. You get the accountability program along with it. Plus you get the course. I mean, even if you got nothing else, the course for $500 would be a steal. $299 to work with me is embarrassing in a lot of ways that I don't charge more, but I want to make sure we build a trusting relationship. And here's what I'd like to see happen at the end of the week is you say to me, Mike, I ripped you off. I mean, you gave me so much value and helped me so much in my life. I didn't pay you enough. And I like to hear that because I hear it every single month, and I guarantee you every one of you that enroll are going to say that. Holy crap, there's something wrong in you, Mike. You got a genetic defect that you over-deliver, and your over-delivering is so huge. So I know I will make huge things happen for you, and I'm telling you I will over-promise and over-deliver to a degree if you desire to change. Who is ideal to work with me? You might be asking yourself a question like, do I really want to do this or not? Let me just explain this to you. If you're not where you desire to be in your life and you really desire to make a change and you want to have some fun and work with some cool people that really desire to change and you want to take a little bit of a risk and, and the risk is not in me, the risk is not in the money. The risk is in a very simple thing, that where you're going to be is better than where you are now, and you already know where you desire to be is going to be better. So it's not even a risk, it's a calculated one. Come work with me. And we removed the money objection too because there's a payment plan option on the page, which is you could break it in 2 payments. So pretty much the only thing that would hold you back, you could take it anytime you want for the next year. You got 12 months to take it. There's a payment plan option, so it's not a money thing. The real thing is, do you think I can help you? You don't have to like me. Liking me is not part of the prerequisite. Who cares? What really matters is, do you really desire to change? And if you really desire to change and you want to have something different in your life, find someone to help you, because I will shortcut what it is you want to do. I'm telling you, I will teach you how to run for 10 minutes and do what would have been equivalent to a 4 to 7 hour workout. And it's amazing what will happen in a short period of time. And I don't mean that. I mean it metaphorically, not in a physical workout. So if it's on the screen, take advantage of it. It's a first come, first serve basis. And for the first 10 of you, I'll give you that. I'll give you those audios. I'll mail it out. I'll pull that off the screen later. I just want to reward people for being decisive, because if you're still thinking about it, probably isn't for you. I'm just going to tell you. If you don't believe I can help you, it's not for you, because it's not going to work out. But if you really, really desire to change, we're going to have a ton of fun and make some stuff. I'm very passionate about this. Very passionate, and I'm willing to push people that really desire to grow. So, Ken, that's my story of all that. I don't want to sell on this thing, but I do want to make sure they want to buy and make a decision they need to make.
No problem. I'm going to add 2 things, and then I want to. Angelina has a couple questions that she wants clarification on. But for you guys, and Michael, I didn't realize this, but when I made the link, I went to take a look at what we did for World Speaker Summit, and we offered it at $500 for that event. So yeah, I mean, for real, and the link's still up there, because anyone that gets a replay on it is buying it at the $4.99. So this is a 40% discount right now, and it's real. It's not a BS discount. It is. I mean, if you were to go to worldspeakersummit.com with the / call to action, don't buy it there because you'll pay too much. But we still have it at $499. So grab it at this one, and I can promise you. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind you will get tons and tons and tons of value out of this. So Angelina has a question: how long are the calls, and what time are the calls?
Very good question. Okay, good question. Number 2, 2 answers. I don't know where you live, and I'm just going to tell you my time zone, or Pacific. It is Mountain Standard Time, which is an hour ahead of Pacific. It's either 7 a.m. or 6 p.m., and they're all recorded. So here's the cool part. You can jump back and forth between morning or night. I highly recommend either do a morning or a night, but you could jump back and forth. The one in February at the beginning is just morning, and the one at the end of February is going to be just a night and morning. So you can take it. We've never had anybody not be able to pull it off. So if you've got a soccer practice in the morning with the kids or a work meeting, you can switch back and forth. And if it doesn't work in February, take it in March. But we just recommend you take as soon as one as possible, because don't hold back on what it is you want in your life. I don't have all the dates in front of me, but I've never had anybody who didn't work with us to set the time to make it work. I don't have all the dates. I just know the next one is the 3rd or the 4th, whatever it is, that Sunday it starts. And that one does start a little earlier because of Super Bowl Sunday. We figured some people do want to watch the game, and so we made that one start at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll go 2 to 4 my time, and then go see the game, do what you got to do. So that's the answer to your question. Sunday through Thursday. Sunday night is 6 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, and the rest of the week it's either 7 a.m. or 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can do the math in your time zone.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was working. I think it was like 9 o'clock in the morning my time, or for the evening. Because right now for me it's I can't even tell what time it is actually. It is almost 11 o'clock in the morning for me, and it's evening for you guys. So for those of you,
and you heard Australians on the phone that were on at 2 in the morning. I mean, yeah, you just got to make a commitment to yourself that you really want to do it. Again, if time is going to get in the way and you're worried about being tired, I'm not for you. You need to go find some book that gets you excited, makes you feel good that you're not going to do anything with. I mean, if you really want to change, you'll make the commitment.
Absolutely. And listen, if there's a day or two that you can't do it live, don't worry. I mean, during the time I did it, Elton John was live here in Bangkok, and I said to Michael, I'm going to see Elton. I've never seen an Elton John concert before. I would never do that for myself. So my commitment was to do something nice for myself. I went to the concert and caught the replay the next morning, and it was awesome. So and that was something that actually I needed to do for me, which I would not normally treat myself to. So I called myself to action, and it was a blast. And yes, I did share the video. I did, right? And I got up to the front row, was 4 feet away from Elton John, and videoed it. So how's that for making it work? And I wouldn't have done that had I not been in the course. I would not have given myself that live experience. Yeah. So are there any other questions that you guys have? I see a lot of you guys. In fact, I don't have access. This is going through Michael's shopping cart, so I don't see any. I don't see what orders are coming through.
Yeah, we've had about a half dozen or so people that have already. I just get an email, pops up on my cell phone. I don't have time to look at it. And the thing is, guys, if it's a money thing, you need to do this, because I was talking to my buddy's Matt the other day. He's really one of the biggest high-end internet marketer guys out there. He developed, for some of the biggest guys out there, he developed their programs. And I said, he was talking to me, he goes, Mike, I was editing one of your audios from years ago, and he said, you always say the statement that when you have more money and you're not worried about money, you make better decisions. And a lot of us need to make decisions as though we had money, because a lot of what holds you back is you say, well, I'd like to do this, but you can't afford not to do something that's going to get you to grow. So skip a couple Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? Have peanut butter and jelly like I used to for a couple of weeks straight, if that's what it takes to get to the seminar, because then you don't have to eat it again the rest of your life. So do what you need to do. If it's a money hang-up, we got a payment plan. And if you need PayPal, I don't know, Ken, I don't know if you have that old access to PayPal link. If anybody needs it, they can email. I don't have PayPal as an option. I just realized because we're using these new forms. So if anyone needs PayPal, have them chat you, and they can get a hold of you, and you can get it from a link with PayPal.
Yeah, if you guys need PayPal, just pop something in the chat box, and we'll get you a link. We're not going to give you the $500 link, which is what exists, but we'll make you one real quick.
If you guys can put something together in the background for that, that'd be cool. Because Deborah just told me that was not a problem, but that someone had asked about that. So
I'll have something done for you guys in about 5. Tell you what, guys, I'll make this link for you. It'll be ready in about 5 minutes. So just write. Put this in the chat box. prosperitycourse.com/call to action -PayPal, and we'll make a link that'll be live in about 5 minutes. I've got to do it. Okay. Angelina says, "Wow, I already got my materials in the email. That's terrific."
Yep. And we're going to spoil you. I mean, I have this. I got pissed off with the industry years ago, the personal development as well as just marketing industry. And Ken, I know you and I share this as a passion. Like, give people what they want. You know what I mean? That's why you have such a good reputation. And we talked about this before, people. So we're going to spoil you to such a degree that when you're two ways. One is you're probably going to be bored hearing a lot of stuff afterwards. Like Ken's so happy about learning this material because as he speaks and his communication gets even better from learning HIT and being around our courses, his content gets even stronger. Everything gets even better than his. It's the cool part. And that's why I work on myself all the time. I want to get better and better and better work. It's one of our big commitments both Ken and I are working on, getting even better. The other thing is that you're going to realize you're going to have a whole new standard of what you're going to expect from people after this, because you're going to say, wow, we're really on it. Like, I'm going to give you a live person to work with through the week. You're going to get a coach to work with. You're going to get CDs physically mailed to you, and you're going to see them at your house, depending where you live. If you live in Hong Kong, it's going to take a little longer to get to you. But if you live in California, in the next 2-3 days, you're going to have 2 CDs. Pop them in your freaking car, put them in your computer, burn them, put them in your iPad, and you're going to be like, oh, my God, this guy's the real deal. I'm not telling you this to impress you. I'm just telling you, like, my standard for what the personal development industry offers is typically really, really not that good. It's a bunch of okayness. And I want to get you guys past okay and give you the best of the best, how you can literally change, and offer it to you in a way that's palatable and a way that's doable. And I know I come across real tough. I'm an extremely nice person. And my biggest passion is I'm not going to sleep well tonight once I see all your names in the email, because I'm going to say, this is someone we're going to help change. This is someone we're going to help them get what they want. This is a person. This is the person we're going to help change. How can we call them tomorrow? I'll be calling my personal assistant at like 6 a.m. in the morning saying, as soon as you get to the office today, make a list of these people. Within the next 48 hours, I want everybody to get a phone call. Then you're going to get a phone call. Wow, these people follow through. And the reason why is we have a ridiculous standard, because the second you push enroll and you join our course, it's my obligation now to make sure you get it. So I'm going to take it very literally that when you enroll that you want a different quality of life. I'm going to make certain you get it. So go to the link. Join me if that's something you want.
Yeah, it'll take me, we're just trying to get this PayPal link up real quickly for you guys.
Are people asking for that?
I haven't seen, let me see. I don't think anyone's asking, but just in case, let's see. Please announce, hang on a second, please announce the dates and time one more time. So I got two people asking that question.
Okay, here's the thing. If you're interested in me helping you, 2 things. Enroll, okay? Anybody that asks the date and times, I understand you got busy schedules. You have 1 year to take the course. The times are 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, Mountain Standard Time, and 6 o'clock at night, Pacific, Mountain Standard Time, not Pacific. I'm in a weird time zone that switches. So if you want to know what that is, that's 9 a.m. Eastern in the morning, or it's going to also be at night. It's going to be 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time at night. I don't have all the dates in front of me. I've never had to really hold anybody back. The first one, I believe, it's the 3rd of February. Then there's one towards the end of the month. I have one in the middle of March, one in April. I've been running this for 10 years with 100% satisfaction guaranteed. The only people that have ever had an issue with the course are people that had things like, I'm telling you, like I couldn't take it for 6 months straight because 1 week it was like his fish got sick, and the next week like his humidifier put mold in the house, and the next week it was like an ant bit his foot. I mean, people have these crazy issues, and other than that, it's just we fit it in your schedule. You'll get a call from a live person. They'll go over all the dates. I wasn't planning coming into this call tonight to go over all of this, Ken, so I wasn't prepared with the dates, but we're blocked off. I've been doing this for, it'll be 11 years actually in April that I've been running this course at least once a month, twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, live for, it'll be 11 years in April.
Wow, I didn't know.
So we're slated. I have dates, and I can give you all of it tomorrow, already lined up through June, and my office has all those dates. So if you enroll today, someone will call you tomorrow, and email me too. Like, send me an email to Mike at Communicate Great. Like, respond to the invoice and say, can you get me in the soonest one, or I can't take it till March. Just let me know. Like, I had a lady in Florida buy the course in November. She's finally taking it in March. It's whatever works for you. It's just enroll now for. And I'll give you all the stuff I shared. So does that answer the question, Ken? Does that help?
Yeah, I think that does. And I was a little bit distracted. I think we've got it going now. If you guys go to, if you need PayPal, only if you need PayPal, because it's going to be a 2-step process here. In other words, when you pay with PayPal, it'll come to us, and then we've got to get it to Michael. So there'll be, a couple-hour delay. But prosperitycourse.com/call to action. Yeah, that's all the same. -PayPal. So it's Prosperity Course Call to Action -PayPal. Put it in the chat box. It is now live, and it will work for you. It does not have a payment plan in it. If you even need that, you need to email us, and we'll take care of that for you.
And I'm not going to talk them out of using that or not.
Yeah.
They can totally do that. The only thing is I just encourage them to, just let me know as soon as you can who does that, because I want to mail them the stuff, because that system's not set up to get them the email tonight. So the only delay you'll have is you're not going to get the materials in your inbox tonight.
Right, exactly. I mean, we'll send something over immediately to Michael.
Okay, I just want to make sure we follow through on our end of the bargain. You know how important that is to me.
Yeah, I know, and for us too. So, okay. Listen, Michael, thank you so much for joining us today. I know it's your son and I have been traveling a lot, and I know exactly how that feels. So I'm very grateful to you for.
Like I told everybody earlier, Ken, it felt like 20 minutes for me as 2 hours went by. I'm sure everybody realized, wow, it's been 2 hours? That's crazy.
I can't believe it either. And mind you, I've had about 3.5 hours of sleep.
Wow, you go get some sleep yourself.
Well, I got to get my internet back on at my condo. I don't know why it's not working. I've been sitting here at the coffee shop. Luckily, there's no one else here. Otherwise, the people are like, well, who are you talking to, kid?
For 2 hours.
I know, right? So this has been awesome. Hey, everybody, I hope you guys have had a great time. For those of you that are part of Focus Factor, I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope this was a great bonus for you. If you have not joined Call to Action yet, you want to, because this is the perfect way to get you guys exactly where you want to be, and I want you to join me on my journey because it's a great place to live. So Sabina, thanks so much. She said she's looking forward to the course. Same with Deborah and Angelina. Looks like Jan's joining us. I'm seeing a lot of things in the chat. Charles is joining. Absolutely, Charles. If you got so much out of the 5 or 6 minutes of Michael, imagine the 5 days. This will change your world. And listen, guys, one thing I want to tell you, and for those of you that are listening to this on a replay, I want to hear how you're doing. And I know that may sound like, the typical thing you would say, but what I really want to hear from you guys, this is where I get my joy. I don't do live events in front of audiences like I used to. So this is my live event. And when you email us at support@prosperitycourse.com and tell us what you're doing and tell us the revelations that you've had and how you've changed your life, that's what gets me excited. That's what keeps me going. So please let us know. I was on, Michael, you'll appreciate this, I was on the Marketer's Cruise last week, and I had someone say to me, I'm on your list, I get all your emails. And I was like, oh gosh, and she can yell at me for like sending too many emails. She goes, I love hearing from you. So it was the programming of, oh gosh, I'm in trouble, as opposed to, wow, I got to work on that myself. But nice to get that feedback. That's what powers me to know that what we're doing makes a difference. So
you know what I can do is, and Ken, not to add to this, if they're interested, I already know what's going to happen during Call to Action. They're going to love it. They can let their accountability partner know that it's okay to tell you what's going on with them that week, if they're interested. And it'd be so cool for you to hear all the feedback. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And where they're headed, because we're all in this together. And I know that you're going to be taking Call to Action again in a few months again, just to really rev up again, because it's just one of those really cool things that move you guys to the right direction. So, Ken, it's been an honor to be here, man. It's a privilege, and I really appreciate you sharing our vision, purpose, and our help with your world.
Thanks. Well, let me give you one little piece of this. This will be powerful for you. We do a lot of online stuff, you and I, and you know that when you get X number of people registered for an online event or a webinar, you're going to see 20 to 30% show up. It used to be 50 to 60, and it's gone down to 20 to 30, and everyone's been whining and complaining about bad show factors. Tonight, we had nearly a 50% show factor. That's massive.
Wow.
That's massive, and that says something that, and now mind you, our gross numbers weren't as high as we usually have because we didn't talk about making $4 million and we didn't hit the greed button. We hit the let's make a better life button, But we got almost the same number of people that would normally attend as would have attended a greed-based event, but twice the number of people showed up. So that in terms of the percentage, so that's really great testimony to the fact that you guys are committed to making change, and I'm honored to be able to have done that. So thank you, everybody.
And we're going to get 10 times the results now too.
I know we are. I'm so pumped. So Michael, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon, and you guys will see you later on in the week. We got something special for you on Thursday. I forget what it is, but I'll fill you in. You'll see an email from us tomorrow. Everybody, thanks again. Get some rest tonight. You're going to need it for your call to action. I promise you. Enjoy. And we'll talk
Let's have some fun. Thanks, folks. Appreciate you all. Look forward to working with you.
See you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.